Hello everyone, and what is going on? Hyperion-Blue-GT here. This is going to be a brand new massive update on Gran Turismo 7 and a brand new opening to Spec II. Update 1.40 is out now to have 7 cars, a brand new racetrack, more features are about to go massive, and putting up with some different changes to the game. So this is going to be so very amazing to have 7 vehicles is now being featured before the arrival on November 2nd. So this is going to be so pretty awesome, and now we have more finest vehicles is now being added to the game. So very amazing, and let's have a good look onto the details, and this is going to be so very surprising that you guys really might need to get down to do some discussion. So the main features have been implemented because the opening cinematic that plays when starting up the game has been updated ever since from the original was now been released from March 4, 2022 until it will have to be set on when the game will be started in the next time. So on to cars to have 7 vehicles is now being available in Brand Central and Legend Car Dealership. So here we have the Dodge Charger RT 426 Hemi 1968, Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 2018, Lexus LFA 2010 has now been returned from Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.5-16 Evolution 291 is now being available that turns out to become a fully premium detail treatment along with a NISMO 400R 1995 has now been returned from every Gran Turismo series. For only 2 cars, including one of them as I ever said before, because the Type 992 model on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS 2022 is now being added to the game as seen from the Gran Turismo movie. But the 7th one is the Tesla Model 3 Performance 2023 is now being welcomed to the game as well. So here we have a brand new racetrack to have 3 different layouts with forward and reverse direction. It's going to be set and located in Canada, which is known as the Lake Louise racetrack. It's going to be quite very cool and set to be on a snowy track. First time ever since all the other snow tracks from Gran Turismo 4 and onwards to GT6 ever since to be putting up to have a brand new track is going to be located officially to be up north in the Americans region. So this will have to be unlocked at collector level 22. So what else? Something else that might be quite going on in World Circuits. The meeting place have been replaced with a Paddock. This mode can be accessed from World Circuits or Multiplayer Pavilions and enables players to communicate with one another through text chat and emoticons. Arcade Race have been replaced with Quick Race. Also, in addition to the existing AI, players can select to race a prototype of the AI racing agent Gran Turismo Sophy, only available on the PS5 version in specific tracks and cars. So I hope you guys are about to get yourself prepared and race with the AI opponents because GT Sophy can always gonna have to be prepared to go advance from version 1 into Spec 2.0 as well to be excited to see very excited to see how something else from Spec 1 into Spec 2.0. The prices for Quick Race and Custom Race have been increased. Credits award for these races increase based on the player's collector level and circuit experience progress. Weekly challenges have been added where players can face events that change every week. This mode becomes available after clear menu book number 39 in Championship World GT Series and having watched the ending. An event directory button has been added to make it easy to find all the race events currently available. A change card button has added. Circuit experience has been added to the Lake Louise track in the Americans section. There's going to be having some brand new events is now being additional to have some more expanded features on the World Touring Car 900, which is going to be brand new to the game as part of the Spec II update. along with the Red Bull X 2019 Nations Cup is now being added to have some different location on each part of the racetrack. More expansion on World Rally Challenge Group B, Japanese 4-wheel drive Challenge 600 at Lake Louise. Pickup truck race is now being additionally to be added, and that's not all. Clubman Cup Plus Edition to be added in Special Stage Route X, Watkins Glen International, Monza Circuit, Fuji International Speedway, and of course to have some additional to be on the GT Cup Group 3 Edition to be at Daytona, D-Force Raceway, Red Bull Ring, and Mount Panorama. Now on to the License Center. Master licenses have been added to license. This license unlock after completing the normal license. So we just got everything to be finished and set to be well done from National B and onwards to be on the Super license. But the experience is not yet over. There's going to be putting up with some master levels that we're about to get ourselves to be prepared. A new museum selection in Abarth has been added to Europe. A brand new museum section for Abarth has been added to Europe in Italy. There's going to be having some new cafe on the menu books on number 48. WTC 900 is available on collector level 39 and above, and menu book number 49 in Nations Cup in collector level 50 and above. These kinds of extra menus has now been collected to have number 31 in collection, Road Going Racers, collection in Lexus on number 32, and number 33 for having an extra menu collection is Red Bull X Series on level 50 and above. These brand new sets of conversation with card designers and characters appearing in the cafe. These brand new compensations can be accessed by changing to the following cars in Garage and speaking with the characters in the cafe. So I'll have to scroll down that you guys really might need to pause this for a short moment, so I'll have to be moving on in GT Auto. Okay, so there's going to be putting up with some more additional engine swap is now being available on car collector level 50 to be at the car maintenance and service for the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 3 road car, 2009 Corvette CR1 6th generation, 2013 Dodge Viper GTS, Ford Mustang Group 3 road car, Lamborghini Huracan LP610-4 2015, Lexus RCF 2014, Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution Group 3 road car, 2017 Nissan GT-R NISMO, and Subaru WRX Group B road car. Customization to have some brands has now been added to the preset details in the following brands have been added to the preset decals in the livery editor is Spoon. But very good choice and set to be exclusive to be using on any Honda vehicles when you're in the livery editor. So there's going to be having snow tires has been added to the tuning shop to go on extreme category. So what else that might have some new additional to be on Scapes? The Player's Favorites collection has been added as feature to be in the curation in Scapes. The Polypody Digital Tokyo office has been added as a new spot under Japan, Tokyo. Rendering quality option has been added to be in the detail settings section of the camera tab, standard, fine, and extra fine. Can now be selected to the increased number of subframes when rendering the increase of quality of photos with movement. But this is going to be quite very more impressive and having some main features to be putting up on the replay camera, and even of course to have a dashboard on the GT menu. A brand new dashboard which shows completion rates for each of the various world map pavilions have been added. And this is going to be putting up with some additional expansion on multiplayer in the PS5 version. 4 players and split screen. That would be very good to have all players to be used in the PS5 version, but especially on the PS4 version can also to be played on 2 players. But what can I say, folks? That could be quite going up and additional to be upgraded to have this part of the update. So indicators have been added to the driver's wrist, Indicators have been added to the drivers list in the post-race screen to show the variation in the driver rating and sportsmanship rating on sport mode to have some major improvements when you're entered to be on the GTWS Nations Cup and Manufacturers Cup along with the daily race. But I haven't come by to be stopped in for a while during my part of the training because of major development and some other improvements and adjustments before gonna have to scroll down towards the end. But this one is having a slightly problem on the garage. RCR Civic is actually to be spotted to have an anti-roll bar setting could not be changed after a fully customized suspension had been fitted. Increase the viewable range of the interior of the Toyota Ambulance High Medic 2021 in the BR showroom. Other kinds of issues and localization has now been addressed. Whew. Boy. Looks like this is a lot of details for this update, you guys. So let's go over to be in the world map, and this is how it turns out to be coming very differently. So onto the dashboard and have a good look. Wow, so very amazing to see these progress has now yet to be introduced for having a list of profile is now being seen. There's the country to have a number of percentage and manufacturer has ever yet to be seen. But the collector level is now being maximized to be in level 50. Car collection in 85%, so I got 416 cars has been registered to be going up and stop at 488 cars. License center is just yet to be perceived to be on the main original by 100%, and the new one is now being stated to be going back in 50%. Driving mission, sure, I just really might have to be planned to go over to do some driving missions in the human comedy. Music rally circuit experience is now being reverted back from 97%. But over there on the top right screen, World Circuits is now being seen to have a progress is now being introduced as Spec II update to GT7. Podium finish is now being seen to have a number of times to be raced throughout the game. But very much more indeed and more remarkable. So let's take a stop by in Brand Central to have a good look. There's going to be having a few cars to be listed to be brand new. America, Europe, and Asia Pacific is now being listed to have some new selections of vehicles. So for the first up, let's have a good stop by to be in Dodge brand to have a brand new Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. But you guys may remember from the Crew 2 as a street race discipline. But here it is. This beast is now added to Gran Turismo 7 to become as the updated version from the original Challenger back from 2008, seen from Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. The performance point is 624.20 that has a displacement of 6,166 cc, drivetrain at bar, 840 horsepower / 6,500 RPM. Max torque is 770.3 foot lb / 4,500 RPM. Aspiration is supercharger. Car price to be at 200,000 GT credits is now available to be registered to the car index. But there's going to be having 30 colors available because the standard and the trim itself. So I'll have to go on the cursor left to have some different colors on the Challenger. There's the white knuckle and the black Satan is now. So there's the white knuckle, and even to have a black satin is now being included to be served as a trim. Next up is the Bullet, Destroyer Gray, Granite, Pitch Black, Octane Red, Redline, Tor Red, Go Mango, Yellow Jacket, FA Green, B5 Blue, Indigo Blue, and Plum Crazy. Alright, so okay, let's see. Gonna have to choose any colors that has a good base standard model. I'll have to go with the B5 Blue or go with the dynamic scenes. Maybe let's have a Tor Red and learn more about the details. The Challenger SRT Demon is Dodge's most menacing muscle car, no doubt about it. Inspired by drag racing machines, its specially tuned V8 was capable of pumping out more than 800 horsepower. Combined that its Hartley torque figures, this car accelerated with the best of them. It reached a quarter-mile mark in just 9.65 seconds. In fact, this car was so quick that it was banned from drag racing in North America. What's more, Dodge sold performance kit for the Demon, the likes of which you won't find anywhere else. It was a modern American muscle car that was truly in a league of its own. Sounds very good, but that would be very fine to be serviced to have this most finest updated Challenger to become built faster and over 800 horsepower is now currently to have a 2018 model as a SRT Demon. Unlike the standard and Hellcat version to the Challenger, but this one is very good to be driving with this most finest powerboat muscle car in every American history. So that's one car to be added to the index, 200 collector points, and full max out on collector level 50. So very born to have a nice modern kind of a beast. Then let's go over to be at Tesla to have a brand new 2023 Model 3 performance. So this is going to be quite very much more impressive to have a true successor from the Model X Signature Performance 2012 back from 11 years ago. But this one is very much more fine electric vehicle to have a real car and sedan itself to have a displacement that does not count because the performance point is 582.67. Drivetrain is all-wheel drive, 531 horsepower. Aspiration type is an electric vehicle. By the calculation, because the max torque does not count to have the numbers and RPM to be part of it, because after all, it's all about electric vehicles to have this most finest brand new vehicle by Tesla led by Elon Musk. 5-color selection is available to have a pearl white multi-coat, midnight silver metallic, solid black, deep blue metallic, and red multi-coat. Alright, so I'll have to be preferred to have a pearl white multi-coat and learn more about the Model 3 performance. Tesla's compact EV sedan, the Model 3, is the company's entry-level model. Much like the Model S, it has a sporty design that almost coupe-like in appearance. Powered by 2 motors at the front and rear, this car can satisfy the most ardent performance enthusiasts. This AWD sedan can accelerate like a super sports car, running from 0 to 62.1 miles in just 3.3 seconds. Like the exterior, the interior of the Model 3 is also uniquely Tesla. Nearly every control inside has been laid out on a 15-inch touchscreen. Sounds very good and very much more fine brand new Tesla vehicle thanks to Elon Musk design. But it costs 55,000 credits to be available and registered to the car index to get the Model 3 performance. But sign me up. This could be a very good sign of a sports sedan car to be built in an electric vehicle. But take a good look at this nice white beauty to see how it turns out to be more standard and we're going to be electrified. Car number 2 is complete. Now, let's stop by in Europe to have a visit in Porsche. But you guys have remembered the Gran Turismo movie to have the scene in the Nürburgring. But very cool and mostly from the movie and to the video game itself. So take a good look at this most fine Type 992 model on the Porsche 911 GT3 RS 2022. This is still very much more fine advanced sport version to the 2016 Type 991 counterpart. It has 656.54 performance point and a displacement of 3,996 cc. Drivetrain is RR, 517 horsepower / 8,500 RPM. Aspiration is naturally aspirated, but it has 8 different colors to be selected to be on the white, ice gray metallic, arctic gray, GT silver metallic, black, shark blue, guards red, and racing yellow. So maybe if I really have to think about this most fine color pick of selection from the movie. But how about the ice gray metallic? That would be a very good fine pick to be chosen to have this color and learn more about the details on the 911 GT3 RS 992. The Porsche 911 GT3 RS is the modern incarnation of the legendary 911 Carrera RS from 1973. It was based on the 992 Porsche 911 GT3 from 2021, which was another special creation from Porsche's motorsport division. Unique to the GT3 RS, however, is the technology it inherited from race cars like the 911 RSR and 911 GT3R. Whether it's on the road or in your garage, this one sports car that excludes the racing spirit to the 9th degree. Well, that definitely might be a very excellent and interesting details about the Type 992 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. But it costs 340,000 GT credits is now being available and for Porsche fans like you. So I had to try this out and give it for a spin to have a serve on car number 2. But don't worry, I know you guys really think about trying out with the Lexus LFA 2010 is going to be everyone's most all-time favorite from every Gran Turismo series. That's 340 collector points and number 3 to be added in the garage for the update. Now on to Asia Pacific and Japan. So let's have a stop by in Lexus in Asia Pacific. This is going to be so very surprised and feast your eyes on this one. The 2010 Lexus LFA. 1,500,000 credits just to have a most brilliant all-time supercar since the PS3 era of Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. 590.98 performance point in a displacement of 4,805 cc, drivetrain at bar, 552 horsepower / 8,500 RPM. The max torque is 353.6 foot-lb / 7,000 RPM. The aspiration is naturally aspirated to have a real car. But 30 color selection is now yet to be available to have a different part of a rainbow. So starting out to be on the slate blue, fresh green, crystal gold, pearl yellow, orange, sunset orange, passionate pink, red, pearl red, sky blue, ivory white, lavender, aqua, mint green, lime green, whitey white, pearl white, metallic silver, steel gray, pearl gray, pearl brown, brownstone, moss green, steel blue, lapis lazuli, and pearl blue. Can't admit, it still have the same colors is still yet to be exist, but it's very more popular to have a different variation to the LFA. The 2012 Nürburgring edition is now being served as a variation to have some customization parts when you're going to bring this one to the GT Auto. So let's learn more the details on the 2010 Lexus LFA. The LFA was the first supercar from Lexus. Can you believe it? Took a decade to develop. It was the result of extensive testing at Nürburgring races, so you can imagine how well this car performs. One big feature of this front engine slash rear wheel drive car is that its transmission is positioned on the rear axle. This makes it a well-balanced FR machine with a rear transaxle configuration. Powered by a high-revving naturally aspirated V10, the LFA sounds as sweet as it drives. It's truly one of Japan's greatest sports cars. And while its production run ended more than a decade ago, its allure never seems to diminish. It always does, because this one is the first ever supercar made by Lexus to have the F logo in fast performance. Gonna have to test this out, and I'll have to go for car number 1 to be experienced to have a good sound of the V8 engine. But I can't wait to see how it turns out. I'll have to be the first one and give it a yes. 1,500 collector points is now being added and going up, surpassing on collector level 50. Boy oh boy, this is going to be so very thrilled to be well amazed. So that's 4 cars in Brand Central. Now let's move on forward to have 3 cars in the Legend Car dealership. It's about time, and have a good look over to have some Pavilion is now being received on the notification. So let's go to the Legend Car and have 3 cars to be yet available. As ever said before, there's going to be having the Dodge Charger RT 426 Hemi 68, Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5-16 Evolution 291, and of course, the all-time favorite to be part as Nissan's aftermarket brand as a motorsport division, NISMO, the 400R 1995. Comes in to have a hot price and now perfectly to be available on each part of the prices that you guys might need to get these one to be available onto the index as a collection. So I'll have to take a good check, and this one is the body color on the Charger is the bright blue metallic. 158,000 credits. Performance point is 489.3. Displacement 6,974 cc. Drivetrain FR 425 horsepower / 5,000 RPM. 490.3 foot LB / 4,000 RPM. Naturally aspirated to be on the capital NNA. So let's have a good learn more details onto the Charger RT Hemi. Even if you weren't around to experience the muscle car boom that dominated the American automotive since seen in the 1960s, I'll bet your heart skipped a beat whenever you saw one of them in action in a movie or on the TV. The 1968 Dodge Charger is one of the great masterpieces of the American muscle car genre. The body style alone is enough to turn the heads. The twin diamond shape of the profile is one of the trademarks of the 1968 model. And of course, you can't have a muscle car without the muscle. This Charger is the sportier RT Gray, but it also comes with a 426 Hemi, Mopar's most powerful engine option available at the time. If you're building a muscle car collection, this is the one car you can't afford to miss. Sounds good. Since we have the Challenger SRT Demon, and we might need to have that Charger to be added in the Legend Car dealership, because this one is the true American icon beast. I really gonna have to purchase this one and add it to the car index to have a one classic muscle car like the Super B and the classic first generation Challenger. Take a good look at this beauty, alright? Coming out from the retirement and entered to go back in Gran Turismo 7 as a standard car and onwards to become a full premium star of the treatment. 158 collector points has now going acquired. Now, this will have to take the next one, and the sixth one is the Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5-16 Evolution 2. But the body color is blue black. But have you guys ever think about this most finest iconic livery in Need for Speed Unbound? ASAP Rocky, of course, because this one is actually to be turns out to have that stunning image to have his most brilliant car livery design of all. But even in Gran Turismo 7, this one is now being considered as a real car category that has 466.70 performance point, displacement 2,463, drivetrain FR 231 horsepower / 7,000 RPM. Max torque is 180.8 foot lb / 5,000 RPM. Aspiration is naturally aspirated as always. The body color is blue black, so I'll have to learn more of the details to have a good price in 300,000 credits. If you're looking for a legend of sports sedan, then look no further than the Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5-16 Evolution 2. This car was made with a single goal: to win races. It was developed to compete in the DTM, a German race series that gained a worldwide following through the 1980s and 1990s. The DTM is contested by touring cars, which are based on road-going production models. For its entry, Mercedes-Benz turned the compact 190 series sedan into a mighty homologation model. The final evolution model of this is the Evolution 2. Although technically a production road car, visually it's a bona fide touring race car. The race version of the 190E Evo 2 dominate the DTM and the European racing scene. The AMG Mercedes-Benz Works team won the manufacturer's title for 2 consecutive seasons in 1991 and 1992. Only 502 road legal versions of the homologation model were ever produced. This is the one car that many series collectors must have. Sounds good. Distance driven has just took 2,536 miles. Gonna have to purchase this one, and that will be a very good fine opportunity to have most fine road cars to become as a DTM livery variation. Car number 6 has now added to the index. So this one is a good true racing beauty as a touring car icon legend. 300 points has now collected. Now the last car is the NISMO 400R 1995, but it costs 1,800,000 credits that has a total distance of 1,345 miles. But very good choice to have a nice professional tuned car ever since from every Gran Turismo series from number 1 to 6. And that will be a very good perfect choice to have a body color is lightning yellow. 543.78 performance point that brings out a displacement in 2,771 cc with a drivetrain of 4-wheel drive, 394 horsepower / 6,500 RPM. Max torque to be at 345.7 foot lb / 4,500 RPM. Aspiration is turbocharged. So I bet Nissan fans and NISMO fans alike to have that most fine-tuned version to the R33 Nissan Skyline. But very perfect and have a stunning realistic model that has an interior view. Gonna have to learn the details about the 400R. The NISMO 400R was long considered the ultimate GTR. The car is based on the Skyline GTR, but you won't find the name Skyline or GTR anywhere on the body. From the engine to the body to the chassis, this limited edition model was extensively tuned by NISMO. Nissan's motorsport division. And they name it simply the 400R. Perhaps that's why this car isn't talked about as much as other legendary Skyline GTR models. This is a accumulation of Nissan's works team knowledge gained at Le Mans, coming in the form of increased displacement engine, a reinforced suspension and clutch, as well as the extensive use of carbon fiber, notably in the prop shafts. At the time the 400R was being planned, Japanese automakers had a self-imposed limit of 280 horsepower for their road cars. As its name suggests, the 400R had a bit more with 400. It also has a price tag to match, costing 3 times as much as a new R33 model Skyline GTR. One of the most expensive Japanese-made cars at the time, Nissan claims to have built only 44 of them. Because of its rarity, it has become one of the most typical Skyline GTR models to find. In real life, it used to have the number of limited productions that have 44 between to have the car owners, and even in the game they have few of them by over a million. But this one that has a good price tag is now even matched and yet to be stored here for having a Haggerty collection in a legend car dealership. So I look forward to have that 7th vehicle and test out for a spin. Feels good to have that 400R is now being returned from every Gran Turismo games, but specifically to have a base part of the Nissan road card is now actually to become as a professional tuned vehicle to be powered by NISMO. But after all, 1800 collector points is now being added up and go jump up faster for new players who are even to be novice as well to be experienced about the cars. But this beauty and the most fine lightning yellow of all that have a nice fine official livery is still yet to be exist. So it's all done for now for having 3 cars. Let's explore around and have some minor errands before proceed over to have one brand new racetrack to go with the snow. So there's going to be having a brand new engine swap available, so I'll have to stop by later on until finishing to have this part of the content video. So I guess snow tires is now being added to the tuning shop. So let's have a good look and go on extreme. So this one is now being required for driving on snow and ice. Let's have the details and learn more from Rupert. These tires are made especially for snow and ice. With narrow threads and deep grooves, they offer exceptional grip on snow. And their metal studs are capable of digging into icy surfaces to prevent slippage. Very nice compound tire, and even yet to have that metal part is now being put up to have a tire cleats. Very perfectly to be driving on the ice and snow itself to be compatible on rally cars, and pickup trucks is now specifically to be using on 4-wheel drive. Gonna have to test this baby out to have available to be on the race shop because of the additional to be part of the main update. So bonus menu has been added after clear from menu book number 39. But forgot one other thing. Let's have a good check and look around to be on menu book number 38 in World Touring Car 900 and X 2019 Nations Cup. So there's going to be having some racetrack is now being featured to have this part of the series. So I guess that would be a perfect time to go finishing up from World Touring Car 800 and then go all the way up to 900. That could be quite very cool and competition to go enter for a whole new level. And even of course to have the Red Bull X 2019 Nations Cup ever since from Gran Turismo Sport as the endurance event, along with a standard version on the X 2014. So each kinds of rewards and racetrack is now being held on different location on the world map. But extra menus, just gonna scroll down and have a good look to have some extra car collection menu. There's Road Going Racer on number 31 that has the BAC Mono, Radical SR3 SL, and KTM Expo R. Extra menu number 32 on Lexus to get the RCF, LC500, and LFA. And that's not all. Extra menu number 33 is Red Bull X Series to get the X 2014 Junior Standard and the X 2019 Competition. But not to mention, because we still have the 25th Anniversary Edition is now being available to have the additional requirement. But that would be served to be as an additional to have a main requirement, but even perhaps you might have to get the X 2019 Competition from the license center. That will be an extra hint and have one-way guess to have some more cars to be collected to have some main features. So let's have a good stop by at the Escapes to go highlight as brand new. But you know, players' favorites to have to be featured to have 30 most popular spots. But good thing I just recently finished from Cartober after finishing on day 31st on Halloween. But even perhaps all kinds of usual location is now yet to be featured available for having a curation. But it looks the same, and very yet to be having a new part of the category selection is now being on to have a main part of the spot. So let's have a good look and have a search on Japan. I bet Liberty Digital Office Studio is now being located in Tokyo. Go to Japan. Okay, let's see. Gonna have to search Liberty Digital Office Studio. It has to be here on this curation on the Pavilion. Okay, there's no sign of brand new feature curation. I guess it might be here somewhere to be on Brand Central or in the Escape Pavilion. But you guys might have to be available to choose any selection spot to be on the total in 30. But I almost forgot to have one other thing to have this part to be stopped by. That could be having one extra reminder to be well guessed. But there's going to be having a good stop by to be on the multiplayer. There's the Paddock is now being included to be introduced for the update. But let's have a good check and go by inspection. So the Paddock has now actually to be featured to be meet up at our favorite track. Ever since from the meeting place to be introduced from last year's update. But this year is now being put up to have some players and their favorite cars is adding up with some emoji icons. So I'll have to give OK and choose any racetrack to be available on different part of the spot. So that would be doing quite giving a good moving on Pavilion feature to have some new part of the location. Can't admit that would be so very cool to have some players to be available on every racetrack to be selected room. Unlike the World Circuits is now yet to be used by the original until it's being moved over to be on multiplayer. But don't forget, because this feature that might have to be required to have a PlayStation Membership Plus to be required to enter. But can't admit because I just really need to save some money. Not just gonna have to spend too much, I just really might need to save it for something else that really important and having some planned of idea to go on Patreon. Okay, let's have a good check to be on the license center just to have one part of the clip to be prior to have my full walkthrough as ever to be needed. I'm glad to see that you finally got your super license. That's great. You're now eligible to obtain a master license. a special credential available to only super licensed drivers. I'm Takuma Sasaki, the coach for the National B Master License course. The Master License course is a practical course that will test your ability on wet and snowy terrain. Just know that getting gold in every challenge is no easy feat, even for top tier drivers. But seeing as you managed to get your super license, I think you got what it takes. Now, take a deep breath and let's get started. Okay folks, so this will be doing a different kind of a license center, but this is going to be having a master license to be introduced as Spec II update. After acquired from the normal super license, you'll be moving on to take the National B, A, International B, A, and super license in master category. But I'm just going to take a look around and see there will be some different challenges as we're about to go start out to be on Master B license. Only on National, but each kind's a different exam on different tracks with different vehicles. Unlike the original, this will have to take step by step from B1 to B9 as ever before to be going onward to take the next step and proceed forward to get the Master Super License. But more bands will be made to do it because since we have fully graduate from the normal license, it's now actually to be checked up and go for having a most fine advanced level to test ourselves and test the skills and ability. But each part of the different rewards will be required to have a ticket in all bronze and a vehicle on all gold. So time for us to give ourselves to do some training, and let's give it a go to be stepped up to be proceed forward. Just almost forgot to have one thing to be stopped by in sport mode to have some main part of the changes on Nations Cup for the final round. Okay, excellent job, and golden clear on Alsage Test Course Reverse for the Group 4 category on the go. Just to have 2 million GT credits during the part before tomorrow's update from here until now, that would be going fine additional to be served as an extra. Alright folks, let's have a good check and go by sneak peek on the Nations Cup, but this will be doing more fine changes out there to have a reduced amount of the season to go serving onto the final round. But I mean, bummer. There's no sign of round 5 coming up because since we have arrived in November. It's going to take place to be on Saturday on November 4th to be on the special stage Route X for any specified vehicle. But I'm going to have to miss out because all that work and major ongoing development for myself because having a lot of more progress and major changes to have this part of the content video and the update itself. So to me, that is going to be so very fine, more reduced amount of changes. So let's go to the world circuits and see what else that is going to be very brand new to have the first ever location to be set in Canada on Americas. So I hope everybody is about to be very excited rather than onto the Grand Prix track. Okay, there's Sarah. She's giving us a notification. Weekly challenges have begun. You can access weekly challenges from the green panel at the top right of the screen. Cool. Weekly challenges has now been introduced to Gran Turismo 7 as part of the Spec II November 2023 update. But every week, you might have to take 5 events on different challenges is now being said to be included. So welcome to the weekly challenges. This is where you'll be able to compete in weekly events. Meet the event criteria to earn rewards that vary according to the number of races you cleared. This is also where you'll be able to access special weekly limited time online events. So be sure to drop by each week to get even more fun out of the world circuits. Alright, looks like this is going to be a brand new seasonal event, you guys. 5 events on different challenges, as we're about to be put up to have some different categories on each part of the manufacturer, and differences is now being yet available to be on the main part of the reminder. But this one is going to be having a limited time online event, so I had to take a good look and go around to have which competition condition is now being set to be started out with. For me, I kind of think about having one thing to be go and test out the Lexus LFA 2010. So I'll have to take a good stop by and go to Suzuka Circuit to have a paddock available is now being listed to have a highlighted icon. Unlike the previous update, has now been added up to have a change vehicle before enter to have each kinds of specific events. But there is going to be having a quick race to be introduced for the update. Take a good look. Bonus to go adding up by 400%. Let's have a good look and see for myself. But it's going to have to take place to be on the full course or full layout. But either depends on any racetrack that you guys might gonna have to go with. So let's start out, and this background has yet to be used from the previous. But kind of admit because it might have to be preferred to have a better change of environment. But even perhaps there's going to be adding up with some different condition before enter for having a quick race rather than using on the arcade. So gonna have to start out on the beginner, intermediate, or professional level, depends on which kinds of difficulty that you guys really want to go with. But after all, because the bonus calculation has now actually to be going up in about 400% increase to have a collected level and circuit experience completion progress by having a match and go maximize. So let's go professional and feel the experience to be test driving in the LFA 2010. I'm so very hyped up about the sound of the B10 engine onto this Lexus. Just like good old times back from Gran Turismo 5 and the PS3 era, and of course to have a most fine differences to have the original supercar made by Lexus. Gonna sit back and wait for the single race to be set and raring to go. But I'm sure a bit because the environment is still yet remain to be in one piece. So here we are right now, folks. Suzuka Circuit, as we're about to go down to have some different opponents, and reward earnings are about to be going up significantly to go for having a best opportunity. So as preparation goes on to have some tires before we're about to get the show on the road. But don't forget, performance adjust and weight adjustment to be on the power restrictor and ballast, just in case to have differences that you might need to be added up to go capable. Gonna be patient and wait for the loading screen to be jump up. Change up the tires to go into soft or medium. But one other thing, I might gonna have to take a good sneak peek on the detail settings. That will be doing fine original to be yet to bolt. Suspension is doing well. LSD is fine. Transmission check. ECU that needs to have one part to be on the output adjustment. So yeah, it takes to have some same part of the usual parts, and even of course to have the engine tuning that will be going adjusted to have the LFA, because of the engine model is the 1LR-GUE-LFA. Good correction on the code model engine for the LFA. But still have a good potential B10 engine, so I'll have to give it a Sport Soft compound tires will do the test. So let's get the show on the road and get ready for having a 3-lap challenge to be on the rolling start. That will have to take one step closer to have a one clean race and experience amazing for this most fine 2010 LFA Lexus vehicle. I'll have to take the first corner to go dive in. Slow and steady, and have a good look inside to this most fine, usual interior view on the right hand side of the steering wheel. Lexus has done so much more possibility to come up with a first ever supercar until in 2010 to have an icon for Gran Turismo 5. But even perhaps this one is very used as a premium vehicle to be carried out onwards to Gran Turismo 6 as a different variation to become as the 2012 Nürburgring edition. Very much more fine challenging to have the standard and the most tuned version is now being capable to have a different kind of a road car. But even perhaps it was used to become as a concept car to be listed as a 2007, ever since from Need for Speed Ship until being onwards to be on Ship 2 Unleashed. But kind of admit because differences and comparison to have different models of the LFA to have a concept and a final model to have differences on the form of chassis. But man, the V10 sound of the engine is roaring up the sound. Kinda like it, and I can feel it to go anywhere, any track, and any place. Alright, gonna have to keep going on the spoon corner. The Camaro SS and the Lamborghini Miura is in 6th and 5th place. Going in, and gonna have to switch up to go on the right side of the track. Skill potential and going free in style. 5th place on the row and head over on the Catskill Triangle. Okay, gonna have to keep it good steady on the understeer. Proceed on lap number 2. Halfway mark. Overtake on the Muse NISMO 380 RS. Keep calm and master the first corner. Okay, looks like Mazda Atenza Group 3 road car is in 3rd. Gonna have to keep going and wait for the patient to come around. Okay, there you go. In about 7.7 seconds remaining to catch up to 2 drivers. So looks like there's the Corvette C8 Stingray 2020. Gonna have to catch up to that red Corvette. Go by the danger curve. Steady in and watch the line up distant. That's the ticket. Okay, go by the hairpin on turn 10 through 11. And even for the first place as the LFA is going in to catch up with the most toughest supercar ever yet after years in the making for the LFA. The McLaren 650S 2014. So there it is right now, just to be on the scene and mostly to have a 2015 model to have that McLaren 650S is in the lead. So let's give the LFA to go for having a 1 pace of the acceleration on the straight. Okay, gonna have to slow down, but maybe not the 650S. That was the MP412C. So, looks like the McLaren MP412C and the Lexus LFA have finally met once again for having a rundown reunion. Kinda admit because 2 of them as a 2010 model since they just been raced together in common since GT5 in the PS3 era. The chassis are built to be different and of course to have the same part of the engine model. But the handling, skill, and the active wing spoiler just yet to be very differently to have some similarity. But those two have to coming in to do this once again for having a good time to be racing on the era. The final lap is about to get closer, folks. I'm still gonna have to be patiently to overtake the McLaren MP412C. So going on to the Dunlop curb on Sector 2. Come on. Gonna have to be patient and stay on track a bit. Danger curb incoming. Still yet to be rivals, but it'll have to be raced together once again and do it again twice. Okay, I got it in the lead and go pack up the pace. So you guys might gonna have to take a good look when I'm using on the steering wheel. When it goes up to have some differences to be changed colors to be on the green, orange, and either to have the main part to have that HUD to be seen differently. But still yet, the LFA is very remain popular to this day. So it'll have to go up to have the green into orange yellow. Okay, looks like the MP412C is not giving up. It's a supercar dogfight to be reached towards the finish line. It's going to get closer, nearly there. Okay, that's good. Stay ahead and bring home the podium finish. Alright. Did it at last, and LFA has took the win. So far so good to see the MP412C is happy to see the Lexus LFA once again, because one 2010 supercar is very much more left to be born alone. Now on to the result. Just to have a good, clean, decent run time to have 7 minutes, 5.251 seconds. But even yet apparently to be optionally to have some 7 cars to be well experienced. So very good job to have one part of the race, and let's have some more opponents. Okay, looks like the NISMO 400R 1995 is here to be on the list. Talk about having one tune car is ready to join the fun. But even yet, just take a good look to have some good fine earnings to go up in 93,900 credits. Talk about doing some cheap low earnings from the previous update, but this one is going to be born big and go by expanded to go having some different challenges rather than to do the share element from Gran Turismo Sport as a custom race event. Needs to have a good check. And there you go. Well, almost perfect that is. Now let's see what else, something else that might add up. I kind of think about this update is more importantly to have some different options on the replay loop. But still yet to be seen, but evenly that if that might be quite come up to have some different options after finishing a race and onwards to proceed in the replay. But still have the same part of the element from GT5 and GT6 respectively and differently. But I'll have to be leave it as well to be turning on and see what else that might have some different scenes and cinematics. But looks so very cool, by the way. So let's exit out and have the first part card quest collection to be on the progress. That's one down, 7 cars tested to go. It's so much fun to try it out on quick race rather than go on the arcade mode is currently to be available from the previous update version. But kind of admit because adding up to go on bonus to be start out to be on the main progress from exactly in around 50 or 100% and go all the way to have some progress to be entered on circuit experience to be going additionally to be up to 200% along with the car collector cap level to be stopped at level 50. But it is going to be quite going much more experienced and tested to see how you guys can actually to go for the fun. So what else? Which car number 2 should I have to try it out next? But I got it. How about the Porsche 911 GT3 RS Type 992 2022? Best time to go cruising around to be at the Nürburgring Nordschnee-Eibay to have a good place to be around. So let's go there and have a time trial to be explored to be onto the tourist layout. Can't admit, this will be doing a perfect time to go for having a morning condition to go cruise around. But that part of the scene from the Gran Turismo movie is actually to have the most fine supercar to be cruised over, because that part of the scene where Jack Salter brings John over to be in the scene to have that accidental part. I can't admit, because that moment is so beautiful to see how John is going to be driving all around the track to get back on his feet. The music is so lovely. That makes me want to hear it. But I'm not crying, you guys. That part of the scene is so beautiful to have that Porsche 911 GT3 RS 992 model 2022 is so perfect. But anyway, let's begin and go for only one lap. So take a good look inside to this interior view. Unlike the 2016 model on the Type 991 GT3 RS, but it has a drag reduction system is now being featured unlike any other cars to be using with the same DRS. Active wing spoiler is very more quite fine to be adding up with some different ideas and different set of the wing spoiler. Despite of any other vehicles that has the DRS like the F1 cars and road-going versions. But even perhaps the McLaren P1 GTR has actually to have a different form of the shaped wing spoiler. But over there to have that DRS is now being seen to have the top onto the left is now being on standby until being ready. But it looks so very cool to be listed as a 2022 model in the different model form of the 911 like the 2016 version. So I had to go cruise around and drive normal. It feels like I just really want myself to get back on my feet. That sound of the engine looks so beautiful to be amazed. So over there, before approaching into the next corner from the film, is where this part of the scene comes in. Yeah, this is actually half the spot where Sean just crashed right over onto this corner. That is definitely much more giving some horrifying moment to see that shocking. So let's have a good look onto the DRS, and there it goes. Looks like the DRS is active. Looks so amazing because the front and the spoiler is now actually to be seen on the screen. But sorry, because all the direction of driving to go cruising around and just yet to be standby to be listed on the yellow and then go on green. Just like that, and it works like a magic. I bet you guys really think this Porsche is becoming the movie star icon from the film and proceed to have the next update until now. Just only 2 updates later until Spec II just yet to be currently to be arrived. But this form of the chassis and a different set of modification to have different form of the Type 992, which is actually to be based from the legendary 911 Carrera RS from the 1970s. but looks so very cool and very much yet to have the same form, unlike the Type 991 model, which is actually to have some differences from the RSR version as a 2017. But the taillight looks so very different, and even perhaps to have the different one to be seen onto that part of the rear. On the center, that is, because this one looks very different like any other 911 Porsche cars. When going on in third-person view, when using the DRS, it can actually to be using it and turn it off before approaching on every corner around the track in the world. But I still really love to this car, you guys. Very popular, and best well served to have that movie film is actually to have a perfect thumbs up to be going endorsed by 100% along with the Lexus LFA 2010. But not to mention about the license plates, but very good to be having a European license plate is now being outfitted with some rectangular shape. So halfway there to go cruising on to the Nordschnitt I-Bay. So go speed up on the DRS. Give it more increased speed. But I can't wait for the Gran Turismo movie, which is going to be coming out from DVD, or other kinds of streaming services to be on Amazon, YouTube, and what about Netflix? But boy, I just really want to see the movie to be on Netflix along with Uncharted, because it's actually to be still here. Okay, here comes the carousel. My favorite corner. Okay, very fine part of the scene. Okay, gonna have to remember the corners. I just really need it for the GTWS season in 2024. But I still think about the scene at the Nürburgring for this car, but that is actually to have that part of the scene is actually to be part onto the conversation. Well, you guys really think this car is very perfect to have this one in the game. Okay, looks like there might be some parked cars where the spectator is seen around. Just take a tour and stroll on the track. Okay, next sector on the way. Okay, coming around and approaching onto the flower bed corner. Actually, any kinds of specific corners to be titled in German on the Nürburgring is still yet to be remain popular around the track. But even perhaps to have some titles on the street itself and even the Gran Turismo logo, but still have the most finest landmark racetrack to be dominate and challenge itself to be set by record in the green hell. But over there, the long straightaway is where the sunset just yet to be coming around onto the scene. But I just set it on morning time, but it was alright. It's only just a game, and just to have a natural time of condition to go anywhere and go on the track to have any vehicles that you like to go with. So almost there. That could be end of the line. Gonna have to follow on the open spaces where the cone's at. Now go for the DRS. You'll have to give it up more speed just a little bit. Okay, looks like it's all done in lap number 2. 8 minutes, 11.948 seconds. Well, I guess there's no need to have a time of challenge. It'll have to take cruising around to have one Porsche 911 GT3 RS to have a Type 992. But better yet to be mostly fine to have everyone's favorite car for Spec II update on GT7. But there's no need to have some stats and analysis to have some main different outcome if you guys really want to pause it. So, gonna have to move on and do this part of the scene on the replay. Pardon me. Okay, there it is. Come on, just gonna to bring back on the picture. There you go. So, thumbnail picture captured, well, perfect. And that is a beautiful sports car to have a decal on the GT3 RS on the sides. But in that case, that could be doing a much more fine of time to go cruising around to have that Porsche at the Nürburgring Nordschleife Eibay as a tourist layout. Okay folks, glad that you really enjoyed the replay, but yet simple to be having some regular and best lap time to have a captured thumbnail image for a reminder. So I know this is going to be having a most big excited moment for Gran Turismo 7 Spec II on November 2023 update. So either perhaps optionally to go on change car on the race menu, or just gonna have to exit out to the world circuits to have some differences. But today's driving marathon to have a total to be combined together into 30.4. But here it is, 4-star roulette ticket is now being received by a daily. Now on to the third car to be selected to be tried out, as I just really need to take a sip of water and proceed forward to have the next racetrack. But not yet to be patient at least. There's gonna have to take more cars to be tried out to be experienced. So on to the date acquired to be on the vehicle switch, and let's go with the most finest classic touring car on Germany since the DTM. Next car on the third one is the Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.5-16 Evolution 2 1991. But there's gonna have to take one reminder check notice, as I'm about to be participate to have one race in weekly challenges. So let's give it a go and have 2 laps on the Nürburgring Grand Prix track. But it doesn't matter to have the suggested performance points, and either just need to have some tires to be in case. So I had to purchase on the hard, medium, and soft tires. But also compatible vehicles that requires to have a dirt and snow tires before entered on other locations to be specifically to have some rally racing. But in the meantime, I'll have to save it later on, and let's try it out to be on weekly challenges to have the finishing condition in third place. But we prefer to go focus on first place, that we have done this before, and we have to do it again to go for a new part of the challenge. 2 laps in Nürburgring Grand Prix, and this will be my time since trying out on the BMW M2 competition 2016. So medium compound tires check, and just go up and settle to be on the 512 performance point is now being set and capable. Okay, let's zoom in onto the map. Okay, looks like this could get light blue and standard blue. But thank goodness from the previous update is giving us for having a weather close-up to be on short notice. So let's try this and have this car to be tested to go for having one part of the weekly challenges. So let's do this and have a good look onto the left hand side to have that most fine classic Mercedes-Benz. This maybe looks so very good different as a road going variation before it turns out to become as a race modified for the German DTM season. Back from the late 1980s and early 1990s, this car was actually to becoming the most popular iconic road-going touring car to be racing in motorsports until being retired at the end of the season, until one person named A$AP Rocky to have this car is the most perfect icon to have the signature to be set in Need for Speed Unbound. That would be a very good perfect choice for his pick. And the 190e is actually to become as a true street race tuner car is set onto the open road. But it is going to be quite perfectly to have this one is now being treated to have some different customization when you bring this one over to the GT Auto, has now actually to be set and wide body modification to be treated to have some different livery variation is now being treated to have a Group A competition like any other road going vehicles from the 1980s and early 1990s, like the BMW M3 as a standard version, or maybe the Ford Sierra RS Cosworth. So I had to catch up and go faster on in. Looks like Coque Lopez is in the lead. Gonna have to focus and finish the race in third place or higher. Alright, looks like this could get surprising to have one opponent in the same Mercedes-Benz 190E. But what can I say? This update is now bringing out to have one manufacturer brand better than to have a full party of BMWs. Okay, going in to catch up on Rubalar. He's on third. Gonna stay on top of him and go slipstream. There we go. I'm on the third and stay on top of it in about 13 seconds remaining before moving on in final lap. The 190 Evo 2 is actually to have a 2.5-16 to have this most classic sports car in the 1990s, but as ever before, because of the AMG division just yet to be built for having some touring car competitions on the DTM. Unlike the Evolution 1, but this one is the Evo 2 to have that updated version is putting up with some more adjusted parts and performances is now being capable to be racing on the track. But more or less, that car is still very popular to this day for every Mercedes-Benz fans out there in the whole world. So gonna pack up the speed and coming up onto the fourth gear to go down on gear number 2 at the next corner to have the Michael Screwhammer S. 6.9 seconds remaining. Gonna catch up and see Lopez on second place. For my kind of the appraisal to see the 190 Evolution 2 is definitely to be a very good classic road car to be used as a standard model from the PS3 era and turns to become as a fully premium detailed view on Gran Turismo 7. But the chassis and the form of body and the rims and even the wing spoiler is very perfectly to be served as a road-going touring car variant. Okay, looks like gonna have to take that chicane to get closer, beat the rain, and stay on the condition to be tested to be doing the part on the master license test. Going on the last corner, this is it. Okay, looks like Coque Lopez is on the defense, and I still almost had it. So, when you participate to have one race that you already done it, weekly challenges have met the competition condition to have one checkmark is now being received. So that's one down, 4 to go, and be reminded yourself, every week, different events to go on weekly challenges is gonna have to test yourself. That will be doing one important thing to have one major daily to go with some received earnings like some roulette tickets. But yeah, that would be quite correction. That will be having one roulette ticket depends on the type of a rarity. So that should be very good to have the fastest lap on 2 minutes, 27.968 seconds. Very good, and still yet to do some progress to be on the main task. But I'll have to take 15,000 GT credits for having a good test run to be experienced on the third vehicle chose. But hold on, looks like that could be giving an extra. When you participate on weekly challenges, there's also the credit ticket is now being received for competing in a weekly challenges is going to be set by date when you entered. So it'll have to be collecting some more credits to have that ticket. You'll have to be entered to go moving on to have some different type of rarity by choice. Kind of admit, this update is all about to give you something for an extra boost. So on to the replay to have the next one to go proceed by in, and I'll have to take a short time to do some thumbnail images. front capture thumbnail is checked, and give a pause by on the race photos. That will be doing one additional extra to be doing on race photos after finishing on the race. So let's have a good check and prepare for having a one picture perfect to see some different features. Unlike any other kinds of differences on the cameras, so the condition settings is still yet remain and go on panning. Okay, go on aperture, shutter speed, and set to go around to have some differences to between in exactly on the red. So with the upgrade on camera mode to be on scapes and race mode, so there's also to have some different sets on to be highlight in the red. I kind of say this is going to be a bit more extra surprise to be set in 1/32 or 1/1 second on either numbers that you guys really need to choose it whenever you want to pick that turns out to have a good line of perfection. So I'll have to be the first one and give this for having an example. So observe, and let's see. The rendering process will take time. It takes 5 or 15 seconds to be on the shutter speed. So let's find out and give a rendering. So when taking pictures that takes 5 or 15 seconds, it will have to take a short patient time that it will have to turn out to be perfectly well. But this one is actually turns out to be blurry. Well, that could be quite giving some experimental and see the aperture can go on for. So let's try 1/30 seconds. Let's give a little bit taste of magic and see how it turns out to cause for having a shutter speed. But this may be a one-part experiment to see that if your mind really thinks to come up something racing perfection when it comes to have some matter of experiment. But kind of admit because that is more specifically and think of something to be creative and be original. So that's 2 pictures in a row, and looks like the shutter speed is actually to be adding up to be listed to be highlight on the red. But very cool. But it takes lack of professional that needs to come up to have a good racing masterpiece when it comes to be in motorsports by having an art of culture. So looks like that could be it for now, and have the third vehicle to be saved a replay. So there you go. Looks like Kate Ritz is in the BMW M4 2014 to have a different tuner customization. So here's the fact that could be having one differences between from the previous update that features BMW and then the current one that adds up to have some more European vehicles. So let's have a good check to be moving on to have the next weekly challenges to be in the first week. So how about the Nissan GT-R Cup at D-Force Raceway? That would be doing a perfect time to have the NISMO 400R 1995 to go over to have the 5th lap to have the challengers to go all-wheel drive. So that would be car number 4 to be tested out and give it a go. But almost one other thing, because always had to be reminder, purchase on sports tires to be start out onto the hard along with the medium and soft. So this will be doing advanced challenge to go all-wheel drive to have Nissan GT-R models with the R32, R33, R34, and R35. Well, perhaps with the exception because it will have to be preferred to have the R32, 33, 34, and the R35 because the 400R is actually to be a base model from the 1997 R33 Skyline. But prior to that, but still have a fortune of popularity to see this tuned vehicle, which is exclusively to be entered onto the Nissan GT-R Cup. I'll have to put this one to be part into my future full walkthrough in the next video. But even yet, I'm still in progress to have this main part of the live stream because of the big day moment for all of us as Gran Turismo players. I'll have to leave it to myself, and the development will be set onward to be on a major priority to have this content video is very more important to myself. So let's go and start the GTR in the show. Let's give the lightning yellow 400R to give a good challenge condition to stay up ahead in first. Now this one is very built to be as a tune car, part of NISMO's division. It still have a spiritual base model on the R33 Skyline GTR. Especially thanks to NISMO to build this vehicle, and part to have a Gran Turismo series to have the number 1 and onwards to be on number 7 to have some changes, and go for having a major one-make race to have the R32, R33, R34, and R35. But on the inside to this interior view, this one is more perfectly unlike the R33 Skyline as a 1997 model. But very cool, and yet to be original to have that tuned vehicle, but of course to have the 400R logo is now being seen onto the steering wheel whenever you see it. Gonna catch it up, and looks like and Rodriguez along with Lucas Ordonez is going up ahead to stay focused on the first position is P. Leonor. But don't worry folks, I'm just come here to race and do some daily challenges. Is going to be doing some major trying out experience to GT7 Spec II. But that is so very amazing to see this professional tune car that turns out to becoming very realistic ever since from the PS3 era as a standard version from Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6. But a rundown memory lane on Deep Forest Raceway ever since to be used as a prize reward card from competing in the International A license. But correction is simple. The NISMO 400R was used to be served as a prize reward when you compete in gold on International A license back from Gran Turismo 1. But until in Gran Turismo 2 to have some available prizes to be served as a prize award, but evenly that could be going way much more nostalgia and excellent to becoming very awesome to have some different versions to the R33 Skyline. But what about the R33 Nissan Skyline GTR NISMO LM wheel-going car? It needs to be required to have the next update on Gran Turismo 7 later on in the future, but number of cars is going to be stopped to be at 488, but it has to go up at least in 500 cars to be on the main total. So coming up ahead, I'm on the 8th place, and yet of course to catch up with 2 R35 GTRs is going closer to stay up ahead. Okay, keep going straight forward. Second lap is coming to an end onto the halfway mark in lap number 3. I'm always in it and compete to race it. Okay, Yamasaki is going underestimate to catch up to my pace. This could be having a 3 R35 GTRs a company. Okay, let's go. Stay ahead in the line. Okay, there's a Susrillo on the 2017 GTR NISMO. Gonna have to push that puppy up and go there. Okay, no contact today. Gonna stay up ahead and catch up to M. Simmons on 4th place. Okay, Jay Suji is going overtake. You know what? Something else very more specialty about the NISMO 400R from Gran Turismo 1 and Gran Turismo 2? A race modification to have this one can't be treated to have a different variation to the livery, unlike the standard R33 Skyline as a 1997 model. But this one is a 1995 model, is being designed by NISMO to be built as a professional tune car. Unlike any other Skylines and the S14 Silvias to be part of the NISMO brand. But the first brand is always had to be here to be joined up with some other Nissan cars in every Gran Turismo series. Just gonna have to keep a good momentarily to see that R33 Skylines is gonna have to bring some good tricks and go for some new challenges to have some modern vehicles. 4th lap coming in. Gonna have to catch up to Rodriguez in 3rd place in about 4.4 seconds remaining. The condition must be required as I have to catch up and go forward. Okay, Lucas Ordonez is in the lead, folks. Gonna stay focused up ahead to the Skyline in the R34 models. Inside the tunnel and go straight towards the hairpin. Okay, looks like one R34 and a single R33. Come on, gonna have to catch up and go slipstream to be pull up ahead. There we go. Takes 2nd place and the 400R on the silver. Still yet to go and proceed to the final lap. I still got this and well capable to be experienced to have the 400R to get closer to Lucas Ordonez in about 2.7 seconds left. Update to go closing in and find a good line. Okay, let's go. Give that pace a little bit in and give it a go. Alright, not bad, Lucas. You still got a lot of horsepower to go. But this race is going to be over soon, and daily challenges for the 2nd time is going to be complete to have 100,000 GT credits. It'll have to take a better strong horsepower to catch up to the R35 2017 model can actually to take home the podium, but even so, it'll have to be happening from here until now. Yep, he just won the race, and that makes 2nd place for the 2nd check mark is complete. Good job. That's the 4th car to be tested and 2nd weekly challenge complete. Alright, very good so far. So I'll have to take 40,800 credits is now being checked and go for having a 2nd check mark to have a good ticket. Well, even so, it has to take 1 for the first time ever for this week, and still yet to be doing some 5 more events to go. So onto the replay and have a moment to do some capture thumbnail image. very good at least, just having a whole body of a nice R33 Skyline as a 400R. So gonna have to go exit out and save a replay for having another car collection test. So I guess it'll have to take more cars than that, and even so they have a perfect time to go on American session to have 2 Dodge muscle cars and a Tesla electric vehicle. Gonna have to switch up the vehicles and check on the last used. There's 4 vehicles used, only 3 more to go. But how about just gonna have to test out and drive the Tesla Model 3 Performance 2023. It'll have to be very good and capable to be driving to have a good all-wheel drive. So let's see, what else, something else to do next on the weekly challenge. But I just really have to say this because I just come up to have a better perfect idea. But almost forgot one other thing, to have some brand new additional events to the GT Cup Group 3 category. Take place to be on the same location in the forward direction, as we're about to step up and go expanded for having a whole new season for my full walkthrough. But after all for this, I may have to come up with a perfect brilliant idea to have a very good different planning part. So I'll have to put this one onto the list, and let's go to America for having a good place to be here to have some different racetrack courses to be yet available. So why not go on to the custom race and see it for myself. Let's have a full course and just start out to be on lap number 2 and putting up to have some settings of my own. Go by Dispenser Cup Season 1 event and reduces to be a number to have some different car selections on each category. But still yet to be on the same, because the difference of earnings when you're on custom race or quick race that prior to this part of the update is now being additionally to go add up from low earnings into a better high amount of earnings. For instance, of course, this one is now being set on standard, and let's give it a go to have some type of difficulty to be on intermediate. But it looks different because it'll have to stay on the range of 20,000 credits to be on the prize. So let's test out and give a good electric go for having a Model 3 Tesla vehicle to be on the trial mount circuit. This will be doing a most fine important practice ever yet to be well tested, and of course to be arriving in the month of November, viewers. After finishing to have all of my Total Drama liveries on the reboot characters from October, but I still didn't get enough chance to be well planned to be participate to have some more team variations on the Frogs of Death and Ferocious Trout. I'll have to carry over to be on November, so it'll have to be set and planned to go by date of announcement. As for right now, this will have to take the next vehicle car to be experienced to have the Tesla Model 3. Gonna have to purchase 2 tires at once and go for having a subcategory to be set and go settle in. But one other thing to have a reminder, because this will be set to be served as a one-make category. But I wonder if this is going to be quite possible to have this part of the possibility. So let's load up the settings and give this for a little bit more update to have a check on the opponents. So first things first, I might have to take a good look on the settings, as I just recently purchased on the medium and soft sports tires to go enter on in. Detail settings and have the inspection on transmission for a manual adjustment. 1 gear only by drive mode. Very good. That takes 1/257 on the first and 9,000 on the final. Okay. Let's do this, and let's have a good look inside to the interior view to be racing on the fictional racing circuit. Okay, looks like that might be quite turns out to be a bit different, as the touchscreen is now being seen to be differently to be located in Mars. But we're on planet Earth, by the way, folks. This is how the virtual racing game is now being seen to be driving when using the Tesla Model 3. Built for driving as an all-wheel drive, rather than using as a RR drivetrain. Very good to be sporty, but yet to have a sedan vehicle for everyone to be driving on anywhere across in America. But not to mention because differences like all the other Tesla cars has different form of chassis with the headlights and the taillights. And even so, to have that differences to have the Model 3 unlike the Model X and Model Y. But it has different kinds of front face is now actually to be seen differently. But even in Gran Turismo 7, when using the Tesla Model 3 is the most perfect pick as part of the Spec II update after recently to be putting up with some major plans and preparation to myself. But still yet to go on and proceed to have the half position on the grid. Even so, when gas-powered vehicles maybe go on to be discontinued to be in the year 2025. But we're on 2023 by the way folks, because in about 2 years before gas-powered vehicles will be going discontinued until all the other manufacturer brands to go on full electric production vehicles. Just like Tesla that has different kinds of model vehicles to have the Model S, Model 3, X, Y, and even the Roadster. But still, even so for having the Tesla Roadster is the first ever two-seat electric vehicle from Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6 from the PS3 era. So going on to take the final corner to be cleared and press on in lap number 2. Look fast how I go, going up in over 150 miles per hour. Okay, going dive in and stay on top of it. Okay, looks like gonna have to keep going to have that inside on the tunnel. But I don't know how the touchscreen is now actually to be set on Mars. That could be quite very crazy to see this one to be very yet different. But it is also to be served as a fictional racing circuit on other racing games. So we're gonna have to keep going down and have that slide corner to be stay on track. Maybe I'll have to take a good look onto that screen. Okay, even so, looks like the leather seat looks so very much more different, like my own folks just used to have a Tesla Model 3 just yet temporarily to go on vacation on California. But it was a dark blue color because that has the same kind of a chassis, and even the leather seat is going to be a yet more different. As I'm about to go approaching onto the final sector when I'm taking the lead. Fastest record set by 2 minutes, 14.590 seconds. You'll have to go around and move anywhere. Gonna slow down and keep up the good clean turn. Full stretch on the way. And there you go, folks. One major attempt on the Tesla Model 3 is good to go to be racing on the fantasy racetrack itself. First place for me, but even yet, but there's still yet to come to have that topic about Tesla cars on the Model 3. But the second part of the conclusion might have to be racing on the real world track. So in the meantime, to have that outcome result to be passed by to be second to go, clean race bonus is now currently to be yet and well done by the earnings. So let's have the next step on the replay and do differently to have Tesla cars on the major massive lineup to have my Javatar character to be seen. Okay, good thumbnail image check, Tesla Model 3 in the white with myself in it, and replay to be saved. That was a very good, excellent opportunity to be drive and experience the Tesla Model 3 Performance 2023. Unlike the Model S signature performance as a 2012 model, but even bet different performance comes in to have the same type of electric vehicle to have some different form of chassis. But even by the letters and numbers at least that will be going correction and differences by compared to other Tesla cars. So how about proceed to be over to be on WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca and give something else to do some comparison by the difference. But no replay at the moment, so I just really need to go down and investigate to see how the touchscreen might be turns out to be a bit more different as you may ever see inside to the interior view to have a footage of the rover is moving around in Mars. So let's find out and see how it turns out to be tested to be driving on the real world circuit. Okay, well, still the same, but it does not affect it on the real world circuit. Kinda say this might have to do a main part of the spot during the racing gameplay. But just to have one minor step detail to see how it works differently when using the Model 3. Okay folks, looks like one part of the session race and one heads up check notice to have that touchscreen after trying out with the Model 3 Tesla. So next up is going to be having the last two vehicles as we're about to go dodge. Classic and modern muscle car. So I'll have to start out and resume to be trying out with a Charger RT 426 Hemi 1968. But even perhaps in the last video from the lap time challenge on Group 4 category and outstage test course reverse. But it turns out that the 1970 to the Charger RT Hemi is actually to be served as a standard vehicle. Only in the 1968 is actually to be turns out to becoming a best roster pick to be priored on to GT7 in the next update as being seen as Spec II. But I'm gonna have to test this Charger out and go over to have the next location in Willow Springs International Raceway to be on the Big Willow. I kinda think because that will be doing a perfect choice of the pick for muscle cars as being prepared for having a one part of the quick race session to be ready to go there. So let's do it and have a maximum reward to be on 56,800 credits. Let's choose the Big Willow and go by daytime. So let's test this beast out and go classic on the desert race course. It's about to go all in to see one Charger RT Hemi to have a 426 is ready to step up to take the Big Willow on Willow Springs International Raceway. As starting out to be on the tire category on the comfort, but I'll have to be preferred to go on the sports category to be using on the hard, medium or soft. Just to make sure to see how this classic muscle car as a 1968 model just like the 1970 model from the Crew 2 as a street race discipline. Differences and yet by model is currently to be yet differently to have a different set of tire compound. So it'll have to be tested out and give this most fine powerful beast muscle car unlike the Challenger RT Hemi to have a different role as a Dodge brother. Very correction to have a good same part of the sibling since the 1970s in earlier times. So let's go and have that Charger to go beast up and experience to be racing on the track for having a good place on the desert area. So when it's shaded to have a good look onto the interior view at the left hand side, very perfectly to have a most finest American muscle car since the late 1960s. The Charger is built to have this most fine chassis is now yet to be formed to have the headlights, but you know what, something else to have this different kind of a facelift model for the Charger is now actually to be featured with a pop-up headlight. Just like the second and third generation on the Chevy Corvette is actually to have a different performance and a different form of chassis. So look over there onto the C3 Corvette that has a headlight to be hidden pop-up during on daytime until when it's being used on nighttime. But even yet, this has got to do something else to have that headlights like this. Looks so surprising, and very yet to have some different features to be removed with the hidden headlights from the GT Auto until it turns out to become a perfect form of a headlights that has some similarities like Dominic Toretto's Dodge Charger from every Fast and the Furious movies. So going on the way, full stretch, stay well, proceed to catch up onto the Series 2 DeLorean as lap number 2 enters. Okay, looks like the Shelby GT350 is coming in nearby. Gonna have to shake up and stay up ahead on the pace. Unlike the Dodge Super B to have that different kind of the same form of the chassis, but the Charger as a 1968 model has a different kind of a form facelift until in the year 1970 when the Dodge Challenger comes out to be as a first ever generation muscle car. But this one is an older brother to have that muscle car along with the Challenger as the younger brother. But similarities and different role as a brother to have two siblings with different performance to have a same kind of the V8 engine. Looks so very much more indeed as well to see it. Gonna have to overtake on the Porsche 911 Carrera RS Type 901. And here comes three drivers to have a Ford Mustang, one Nissan Skyline R32, and the 86 is currently on the first position in the lead. So I'm about to give two Japanese road cars to go for having one best proud American high-speed race on the track for a moment, and this will have to be compared by the similarities to go with non-aspiration rather than using on the turbocharge. Third lap enters. I'm about to give the 2015 Ford Mustang to be onto the Rapids ear. Going on the Castro Edge on turn 1 cleared, and then wide open on turn 2. Gonna hop back in the first person view. Keep the gears to stay on top of it because every muscle car is always set by default to be using on 4-speed transmission. If possible, installing with a 5-speed transmission either to be going on close ratio or customization set to be on two types to be on automatic and manual on the set. Either to be staying on the mid-speed to go on range around between 3rd and 4th gear is doing a bit more average on the high speed. But what about going up to have a main top speed performance to be challenging to have a modern muscle car like the 2015 Ford Mustang GT? But vintage car and modern shape form of an urban vehicle which comes together to have an old versus new to have the differences to go for the showdown. Let's give it full straight and step in towards the final lap. Okay, going up and stay on the 4th gear. The Mustang has 5th gear of transmission yet to be apparently by default, but I'm sure of it if it's going to be either on muscle cars to go with 5-speed or 6-speed transmission of gears. You'll have to be a bit more careful not to take too much speed when you're on 3rd or 4th gear. Okay, looks like there's one tap of the contact. Just stay up ahead and go well defense. The handling is very wide open when going up and up speed. Okay, gonna have to stay up ahead. Third sector on the final corner to go right. Okay, that's more like it. Slow down and keep this old Charger to be steady as a good smooth sailing racer. Even more perhaps that would be going way more tougher to kick it up into the high gear to have a good high speed on the 4th speed. So first place is all clear to be tested to have a 1968 Dodge Charger RT Hemi. That muscle car is a true beast of the V8 engine. Feels good to see the Charger is now coming back to Gran Turismo 7 to have a nice 426 Hemi to be listed as a 1968. Unlike the 1970 to have a different kind of a facelift model with a different kind of a chassis. Looks to me because muscle cars can always to have the good ways to have some young generation to go test out to see some vintage muscle cars and even perhaps to have a modern muscle cars to give like, respect, and have a good share to have a good car culture in America. But very good clean race bonus by 74,250 credits to be adding up and go all the way to be right back on to 10 million. So after the replay for a moment, let's have a good picture perfect on the match. Perfection and good muscle car classic with Dodge and Chevy all together for the Charger and Corvette. Just the picture image I need. So fantastic, and the 6th car is now being set and well done. But the last car for Gran Turismo 7 Spec II update on 2023 is going to be having a most finest modern version to the Challenger as an updated version from 2008. The last car is going to be using with the SRT Demon 2018. So I'll have to take the last car and let's go to be in the East Coast to be in Watkins Glen International for only 2 laps. Quick race I go and choose on the long course. Set by the morning and be prepared to go by 2 laps. But the duration is going to have to take much more important because the big day as part of the current update is ahead of us. But I'll have to go on intermediate and have a short race for only 2 laps to give it a go. Unlike any other version to the modern Dodge Challenger, like the original SRT-A Performance, and along with some different versions onto the Hellcat and the Demon itself. Just a perfection to have a different form of the chassis is now being adding up to have a hood, fenders, low lip spoiler, and the rear is now being born to have that different set of the SRT rims. Specialty thanks to Dodge divisional brand as SRT has now actually to be turns out to have that most powerful beast on the Challenger that brings out to be carried out to be on 840 horsepower in just exactly under 10 seconds. So here I go and let's test this beast out to be well prepared and go for only one last stop to be purchased on the race shop. This will be a very tough challenge to see how the Challenger will be more likely to take on with some American, European, and Japanese supercars alike. I'll have to be preferred to go on sports medium compound tires and give it a go. Now take a good look at the sound of the beast and the interior itself. Unlike playing in the Crew 2 as a street race discipline to have some different set of variation like the Bolt Corp Interception Unit and the Awakened Edition from Season 5 Episode 2 in American Legends. But I mean, this horsepower is becoming more heavier on the handling that brings out to have a massive speed of acceleration. Unlike the Shelby Cobra, but this modern sized muscle car is a beast. Unlike the Charger, this one is much more comparison to have modern version between the Charger SRT Hellcat and other version to the Challenger to see some Hellcat version that is capable to be carried out by over 700 horsepower. But this one has a 2018 Demon that carries out by over 800 horsepower in just having a matter of 9 seconds. So I have to keep this beast to be well stable because supercars and hypercars alike, along with road-going car versions like the Subaru WRX Group B. Okay, looks like gonna have to toughen up and catch up to the Enzo Ferrari on second place. Get a load of that beast, you guys. The speed meter is actually to be keeping up with some current calculation on progress to be seen on the right time. Depends on short straightaway or long straightaways. That's so fantastic. Keep a good low pace and catch up to the Enzo Ferrari and Nissan GT3 NISMO to go for the lead. On the way and step up onto the final lap. A very awesome, strong power muscle car that is capable to be using on drag race. But even so, until being said to be banned from drag race event to the Challenger SRT Demon. I bet many other Gran Turismo players are very excited to see the most advanced updated version to the Dodge Challenger as now titled as an SRT8, but it's no longer because the Demon is the most true icon to be part of the SRT brand along with a Charger SRT Hellcat. But mostly find amazing to see this beast is now packing up and go challenging with some hypercars. But notably, any kinds of different set of trims and colors to be ordered to be using onto the hood and the rear itself. But man, this Challenger is becoming much more true successor like the original. Still kind of like it, but that will be doing much more something else that is extra, serving as a touring car version from Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6 since Spec 2.0 update back from 2011. I bet you guys really think about muscle cars because we got two muscle cars right over here that built to be classic and go modern to have a good exceeded maximum of performance. So gonna have to keep a good steady up and hold the maintain by a settle formation. Last turn. Gonna give it what more speed it is. I kind of say about that front splinter is now actually to be giving an extra. It packs up and give a good extra speed of acceleration to be going over to be up to 200 miles per hour. But the race is over after finishing to test out with 7 cars for almost over an hour. Well, I mean, man, looks like it's been over an hour to have this part of this video segment. But it was a very good test run to see how the Demon on the Challenger SRT 2018 is very built to last. Fastest lap I took on lap number 2 is 2 minutes, 4.418 seconds. Very fantastic and more awesome to be challenging with some European cars along with American cars. But unless one Japanese road-going variant on the Subaru WRX Group B road car is now being set to join in. That was a very good average run, and earnings good to be done. One last part of the replay and then proceed over to have the next track. It's going to be very brand new, folks. I know it's going to be a long day. This has got to do a lot of more excited to come. And there you go for the replay. And let's go proceed over to have a new track up north and enter the country of Canada. Canada is the first time ever to be part in the Gran Turismo series because of the snow condition is going to take place in Lake Louise. Between in the state of Alberta, right next on to the left is British Columbia. So let's have a good look and have the update icon is now being ready to go on the green light. Wow, looks like this is so beautiful, and I am so very happy about this track. It is going to be a very good winter wonderland to have some new 3 layouts. This one over there is the Tri-Oval, which is similar to Blue Moon Bay Speedway. There's the short track and the long track, along with the reverse direction, and that is so very awesome and amazing to have that snow themed condition for the first time since Gran Turismo 5 and Gran Turismo 6, along with GT4 as a debut was introduced to be on snow racing. So before that, I'm not gonna have to go down and experience myself to take part on circuit experience. You'll have to test out to be on a long track to have good total amount of earnings on 1.2 million credits. 4 sectors and a 1 lap attack is now ready up and go included for this part of the content video segment. This will be a most fine, chilling, winter-tastic season as we still in the fall season. But even if you guys really watch the news about the snowy weather condition after Halloween in October 31st. But that will be the perfect time to have snow in Winter Wonderland. But look at this, folks. Welcome to Canada. First time ever to be on Gran Turismo 7 to have a good snow condition, and the pit stop itself is much more beautiful to enjoy. I bet the Canadian National Anthem is going to be the perfect time to have a good over to be entered to have 4 sectors plus a 1 lap attack is ready to get started out to begin. I'm so very surprised to see some different set of records by Sector 1 in 33 seconds, Sector 2 in 24.1 seconds, Sector 3 on 23.6 seconds, and then the final sector in number 4, 28 seconds, plus a 1 lap attack in about a minute and 42 seconds. So gonna have to be prepared to have that Canadian National Anthem before I'm about to be ready to get the show on the road. Or like, get the snow on the road. To all Canadian Gran Turismo players out there, this new racetrack is just for you. So beautiful, and the trees are covered with snow and the entire area itself. So let's start out to take the first sector to get started. Here we have the starting position to go long straight before approaching to have turn 1 is going to be a bit more different to be on the right corner position. Once you have to take the short straightaway, you have to take turn 2 along with turn 3 to go onto the right, and then go to the left to be on to turn 4. This is where the finish line is now being highlighted after finishing on first sector. Courtesy vehicle as we're about to be using on the Paddock RCZ Group B rally car with snow tires. So let's give it a go, and let's brace ourselves for having one good sleigh bell riding on the snow. This will be the perfect time to have an early Christmas season for all Gran Turismo players out there, so you'll have to go jump up and have a good place to be on the most wondrous location on the track in the country of Canada. So that's the first corner. Now this will have to take the shortcut to go there rather than going on quick shortcut. That's how turn 2 and 3 is going to have to take some slight turns to go around on the snow. We're almost there. In about 33 seconds is now yet to be set and on the bronze. Okay, average well to be on 34.135 seconds on the first attempt. Gonna have to step up and go slaying up on the snow for attempt number 2. So watch this, folks. I know this is going to be a very good excited out there to be drifting on the first corner. It's so cold out there. Okay, try not to go impact at the barrier. That is the failure zone of condition. Okay, that's silver level on 0.290 seconds in 33 seconds. One more push, you guys. This track is very yet similar to Blue Moon Bay Speedway. Here I go. Let's have the good cue to have a good sign. Okay, going drifting around. Have that torque to go optimize. Okay, find a good line to do the inside. Okay, similarity to do some rally racing drifting style. Okay, looks like that is so literally close to have silver level on 0.180 seconds. Gonna have to try to keep it up and master the first corner. Is very yet of course to be similarity to be indeed. Okay, that's good. Have that line to go around differently on the progression. Okay, brake. And keep up the good torque. Looks like I just finally got it. I just finally got it, and that's the first sector is on the goal. Whew. That's more like it. Find a different line on the inside and outside by the opposite. 32.263 seconds. Yeah! Now, just gonna have to skip that replay and save it for the thumbnail as well. Boy, looks like the first time ever to do this on the circuit experience for a very long time after finishing on the full walkthrough. Next up is Sector 2 to be on the gold record in 24.1 seconds. This will be doing the main part after finishing on turn number 2 and 3. you have to take turn 2 again and go straight onto the curb at turn 5, 6, 7, and 8. But more like it, this maybe look like in Chamonix from France, but Lake Louise long track is going to be a bit much more challenging to go test it and skill your mind onto the snowy areas onto the trail. So you'll have to find out to see how Sector 2 to go a bit more differently from Sector 1. So let's giddy up, let's roll. Rally racing is on the edge of the clock. Okay, looks like gonna have to go sledding. Much more similar to be on snowboarding and tobogganing. Okay, looks like made it onto silver and decimal of 0.394 seconds in around 24. You guys really gonna have to test it out and experience yourself on future full walkthroughs for only new YouTubers. Come on, let's step it up. Sledding up and hit the gas. Ah, yes, I did it. Gold record cleared by 24.061 seconds. Fantastic. Sector 2 cleared. Only 2 more to go until the 1 lap attack is gonna have to be set on hold. That will be a very natural cold dean environment to have a natural good forest to be on Canada to have each part of the layout. So next up is going to be a bit much more wide open to be having a long straightaway as you can go enter to have procedure on turn number 9 through 10 to go around to have this part of the line of the corner. But it maybe look like a piece of cake, just you guys might gonna have to test yourself and see how you can handle this by yourself. So let's hit the gear up onto number 5. Watch yourself. This barrier contact is going to be a much more careful caution zone. Oh snap, this is going to be a bit more crazy to be riding on the snow. Okay, a bit more closer on the bronze, and that makes 24.681 seconds. Gonna have to try to step it up if you really want to go on the inside to have the yellow highlight is going to help you. So there it is right now. Now stay on the inside. Okay, looks like my previous record is doing the outside to have that stepping stone. Okay, up to the silver, 23.902 seconds. Okay, attempt number 3. This one is going to be a hard attempt momentarily to see how you can handle this to do the break. Okay, looks like I just finally got figured out. Still need to work on. So I'll have to take a break and then I'll have to get back on it until the next part of the attempt. A bit more tougher, challenging, and do the inside by the corner to go settle in the next attempt. Okay, gonna have to stay steady and watch myself. Going reset to have a new session and stay on up ahead. The handling is built to be more capable and going proceed. Alright, that should be good enough. Let me try this again and start over from square one. Very close call, but it needs to go at least 0.250 seconds as a requirement to get up on the goal. Alright, looks like I just got the perfect line to go outside and inside to pull through. Yes, that's more like it. Correction on the line by the difference to mastered on third sector to go for having a main approach outside and dive in on the inside. 23.494 seconds as a new record. That's a very good goal record complete, and replay to be saved by having a spare amount. So that should be good enough. Now going exit on to sector 4. Once you make clear from sector 3, the final sector is going to be the next step is going to have to take the right turn to be proceed until you have to make the left. But better watch yourself, there's going to be having two wide hairpins is going to be expected to be going earlier and towards the final corner on the track. This is how you might need to step up and find the characteristics of all-wheel drive on the snow. But even perhaps to have that weather radar is now being seen to be located right over here in the country of Canada to be up north. But take a good look. Snow areas on the mountains and even the highway itself is now being seen on the map. This location is very brand new, and other location is now being seen on the rivers. But I'll have to get down and do the fourth sector to have gold record in 28 seconds. So let's go. The snow terrain is going to be a bit rough out there. Oh no. Okay, that could be too quick, too soon. Man, this is going to be harder to tell to be driving on snow like playing Gran Turismo 4. So let's give it attempt number 2. I'm going to have to take that hairpin in and go whip on to the second part hairpin on the exit. Alright, once I'm on the exit, going full stretch, and gold record on 27.383 seconds. That's how you must master on Sector 4 on the long track of the snow. So chilling and so competent. Whew. I cannot believe it. This is going to be a very tough challenge on elevation to be using on snow tires. That makes replay number 4 on the sector is well done to be checked on the traction turn off. So this is it, folks. 1 lap attack by a minute and 42 seconds to go master everything what you got so far. And of course to be on the part of Spec II update to be having a feature on circuit experience with the additional to be start out onto the main progress to go up in about 200%. It's about time, and I'll have to be stepping in and find a good line depends on the characteristics on the outside and inside corner on the snow. I just gotta step it up and watch out for any main obstacles to avoid the barrier and the snow wall itself. So let's kick it up in the snow high gear. Okay, gonna have to stay on top of it. Braking does optional. Corner by the line needs it important. So I'm on the inside. First sector clear. Now on sector 2. Okay, here comes the brake. Man, the traction is barely turned off. and just going to go right in. It's like skiing, but driving on cars to be capable to be as a rally. Once clear, approaching at the end of Sector 2, just slow down and do that main line steady to stay on track a bit to have some grip and drip on the gravel of snow. But it's actually made out of ice and water altogether. Okay, here comes the last two hairpins. Get that third gear up. Ooh, sounds like this is going to be a slow time of speed. Gosh, so very close. Almost had it and ends up in the silver. By only 1 minute, 43.031 seconds. Not over yet, folks. I'm just gonna get started out and learn the driving on the snow of rally racing, just like driving on the dirt. So it'll have to go hard and find the different good line. Okay, time to kick up the torque. Stay focused up ahead on the line of track. And I'll have to ace that course, and this will be job well done. Okay, doing well. Gonna have to keep pushing up ahead on the courtesy example ghost car. First sector, now heading on in the second sector. Ooh. Snow versus all-wheel driving. That could be a very tough to handle. Going short straightaway, onwards on Sector 2. Try not to tap the barrier. This could get more advanced and masterful if you're really gonna have to do it on the Master Super License. Okay, that's too wide open on the outside. That's one hairpin, and slam the brakes on the final corner in hairpin 2. Yes! Solid gold, baby, on the snow. In a minute, 41.734 seconds. I have successfully, truly dominated the long course in the Canadian track. Now that's a very good snow experience to be well amazed and go on over to have a replay to be yet temporarily as a substitute. This demonstration that shall explain how you can handle it to be master on the snow to go hard as a true expert. But on to turn 1. This is where you might need to take that outside corner to kick up the torque, as you may go enter to have a quick shortcut around in turn number 2. But also to have turn 3 to go for having a quick shortcut, as you may enter to have the fourth turn on the inside, like the characteristic element of Blue Moon Bay Speedway. But differences as before, but different environment location just yet to be set to be on foot. But that part of the turn by corner is very yet to be tricky to go by using the outside turn. Mostly to have the mid part onto the current sector when you're finished on number 1 and enter to be proceed on sector 2. The mid straightaway is going to have to take your next step and do prefer to be going on either in the inside or outside when using all-wheel drive on the Group B category to be based on rally cars. But talk about why the differences to be doing on the deemed condition is now being set on winter. But what about spring and summer on Lake Louise? It maybe look like it has dirt in it to be set on the gravel, but only on the winter season is now being covered in snow, and for the temperature is going to be set at least by 15 or 30 degrees Fahrenheit. But that will be doing most fine natural themed environment condition to have every spectators to wear in jackets. So there you go. That could be going one demonstration example to have one lap attack around in the long course of Lake Louise snow track. But that should be it for now, so the replay is now currently to have the final part of the last. So that should be good for now for having another thumbnail image, and time to exit out to have 4 sectors and 1 lap attack is all done. With the additional to have some minor setback from the previous video, but don't worry, just to have a spare amount of time to be put up as a complete edition with a total amount of earnings to be at least in over currently to have some more 100,000 GT credits, but that should be good enough, and adding up to have some current balance is now staying on top of it to get back onto 10 million. So I have earned all bronze and all gold to be stated as 1.2 million. Whew. What a tough day, folks. But it's not over yet, because the next one is gonna have to keep proceed forward to have the main part to go on to do some weekly challenges. But I still got 3 events to go to be highlighted to be remain unchecked. So let's have a good enter participation on race number 4 in pickup truck race. 5 laps on the tri-oval reverse direction. Choose the Toyota Tundra TRD Pro 2019 or Ford F-150 Raptor 2011. I might gonna have to go with my UDRS InsProtect livery before the thumbnail images are yet appear. So first things first, I just gonna have to purchase the snow tires before entered on the snow track. But it costs 4,500 credits is now being on the cheap price. So quick settings, and now this will be adding up to have snow tires for the current update. There you go. Capital S in white blue. Or even icy blue, that is. That could be a very good icon to take 5 laps around in the tri-oval circuit. Reverse direction, that makes the similarity to have a tri-oval to be similar to Blue Moon Bay Speedway to have 3 turns. But talk about doing some fine similarity to be doing some elevation to go on the speedway on ice. So let's have that finished condition to be ending up on 3rd place or higher. Main step of requirement, and here I come to have a very good winter season on daytime. Okay, looks like we have Lim for doing the interaction. Let's give him a hello. I'm Ethan Lim from Canada. The sight of several pickup trucks racing on a track is enough to make anyone nervous. But it's a beautiful day and the snow's looking pretty, so let's get out there already. Nice to meet you, Lim. That will be a very good day for riding on the snow. So let's get ready for a rolling start, and there's no need to have a car collection because weekly challenges is going to have to take one condition at a time. So let's slay bows on the acceleration and pedal to the metal. Woohoo! Okay. Handling traction is going to be a bit more rough on the terrain, so I have to stay all-wheel drive to keep it well balanced. So on the opposite direction in turn 1, okay, Coque Lopez, and looks like Panel is here. Okay, G Barbara and Eco Frogger is here. Just hold it steady. See how it turns out, folks? Very much more different to be as a speedway circuit for all real cars and rally cars on snow tires. So I'm gonna have to give one excellent turn on number 3. Let's go power slide on the drift. When you're on the left side of the track, just try to keep your speed under control before enter the next lap, as you may ever gonna have to stay safe on the right side of the track. So I got it in the bag and going up on 2nd place. But talk about doing the perfect time to have a heater to turn on the air conditioner. So here we have 1st place driver is emoticons. Gonna have to catch up to him. And very good, nice, awesome livery on the F-150 Raptor. Okay, let's giddy up, giddy up. Let's sled and power slide to the 3rd corner. Whoa, man. Gonna stay dependent. Haha, looks like that could be a one-step beginner's run experience to be on Lake Louise. Try Opal on the Elevation Speedway. But you know what else? Something else that might have some very excellent references? How about the Spencer Camp episode, Sabotage Below Zero? That will be doing a matter of downhill elevation to have some different scenic location to go downhill. But it is actually to have some climate changes is now being said for doing a different environment because of the weather machine. But only on the natural habitat to have this most beautiful environment to have a good look on the mountains. So beautiful. So beautiful to have a good sightseeing view out there when you're on exit turn 2. So halfway there is almost finished. But by the way, the pit lane is now yet to be featured, unlike all the other dirt courses like Colorado Springs, Fisherman's Ranch, and Sardinia Windmills. But very good that be having a good side of lineup is now being covered in blue. But only on the snow courses is yet to be having some open spaces. Let's keep going and have each part of the session to go on either between in the short course or the long course. It looks getting a little bit more bumpy, but don't worry, the snow tires just yet to be stay and well handled to be beating up onto the snow or ice. Okay, 4th sector is on the way. But I don't know what you guys think about it, because I just really want this event to be part as a major full walkthrough, but just yet to be served as a special guest appearance before being entered for the first time. Final lap, you guys. Record set update in a minute, 5.563 seconds. Gonna have to keep this Ford F-150 Raptor to stay well, maintain the pace. Come on, just gonna have to stay on top of it to be in a well-dependent lead. Okay, final sector. Here I go, and this is it. Alright, very good. Final stretch, and we got some good spectators to be seen on the right. Dropping in, Dirt Weekly Challenge complete in Winter Wonderland. That's 3 down, 2 to go, and almost there to have that reward challenge is now being complete. First place for Team UDRS and Sportec on the snow. Good race, very good race to have another part between the Ford F-150 Raptor versus Toyota Tundra TRD Pro 2019. So additionally, to have 12 drivers is now being yet to be putting up with some current liveries and even new ones as well for having a main part of the update. But talk about having a best time for go out and have a nice cup of hot cocoa after the race ends. 75,000 credits and clean race additional on 50%. Nice. Looks like just to have the third weekly challenge to have 200,000 Gran Turismo credits. Almost there, but not yet over to have some one other thing to have some participation to go by priority. So gonna do a capture thumbnail image, 1 quick second, exit, and save a replay. Okay, so minor setback because of the Ford event on Pickup Truck Challenge on America before entered to be having one brand new in Canada. So even perhaps event directory is now being included as well. So my progress is at 42%. Let's have a good look and see what else is new. There are all kinds of different events like different edition on Sunday Cup along with some drivetrains and manufacturer brands along with some different series plus the World Touring Car Series. So I just already done and finished by 100% on the WTC 600. Now all I have to do is gonna go proceed to have some 8 races on the World Touring Car 700 and then 15 race events on the World Touring Car 800. But not to mention because new events on the GT Cup Group 3 edition is now being available by no limitations. So that's how these 4 new events on the GT Cup Group 3 edition is now being set on Red Bull Ring in Austria, Daytona International Speedway on the Tri-Oval, De Forest Raceway in Switzerland, and 10 laps in Mount Panorama Motor Racing Circuit. Just like Daytona Road Course to have the maximum reward on 200,000 GT credits, but unlike the differences is now yet to be well seen by the difference, but different earnings and comes in by maximum award when it comes to have clean races to be on 100%. But by the original, it was used to be as a 730 performance point by the main requirement until Spec II is now becoming as no limitation is now being set being set as well. Very surprising, very interesting, and I kind of like it to look forward to it. But by the way, Clubman Cup Plus Edition is now adding up to have 4 brand new events. So there's Fuji International Speedway in Japan, Watkins Glen Long Course in America, Autodromo National Monza in Italy, 1 lap and special stage Route X. 720 performance points will be required to enter it, but it has 35,000 GT credits on the maximum reward. That's how one event is now being listed as brand new as part of the American Clubman Cup 700 for the current car collection quest. But there's no need to have circuit experience because the quick race bonus is now being maximized to be at 200%. Talk about doing the same element from Gran Turismo Sport to do 1 lap, either depends to go on road car versus any race car like Group 3, Group 2, or maybe Group 1 category when it's using to be set on an engine swap. But let's just gonna get down and continue on to do some 2 more challenges. So let's go and race again on the Ferrari Circuit Challenge to have 700 or less amount of performance points. But before that, I'm about to have 1 select vehicles to be using on the Ferrari FA Tributo 2019 with the reboot of Total Drama Island, Giulia. So I'm about to pick her ride, go on settings to be well prepared to have the minimum requirement. Purchase soft racing tires on the sports category. But one other thing. Just to be purchased to have 3 racing compound tires in case of further regulation on the main requirement. Alright, so Sports Soft compound tires it is, and let's get ready on to have the 4 weekly challenges in Ferrari Circuit Challenge on Seaside at Dragon Trail. Only 5 laps, and let's give the progress to see how it turns out. Okay, just gonna have to take a quick sip of water, and let's do this. This will be the most fun, clean race challenge of all. Using a brand new Total Drama livery on the FA Tributo, facing up with some other Ferrari vehicles is set and go on a different matchup challenge. So giving up an additional hashtag, the real Julia, during this part of the video segment to be taking on with some separate opponents by using different Ferrari vehicles like Simon Bishop and H. Hunter. But even new ones is now coming in to have a joining session on the grid to be served as artificial intelligent opponents. So I have to keep my eyes peeled and keep a good maintain on the pace. Okay, gonna have to keep a good mint condition onto the FA Tributo that Julia wanted. He'll have to go out and do some more progress to represent her. Okay, keep that grip steady and recover. Oh boy, looks like one Ferrari 308 GTB is in the way. Okay, sector 2 clear. Now, dead chicane coming in. First step in, and slow down patiently. Alright. Good to roll, and moving up forward on 10th place. So you guys really want to try out all of my Total Drama liveries, including the reboot characters to Total Drama Island 2023. But even perhaps last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, since the reboot just arrived in late October. But man, I just really miss cable TV because streaming services still exist to be around for the 21st century. Alright, let's go lap number 2. Fastest record on the set in a minute, 58.671 seconds. So let's roll it out and have 6 cars remaining. I just really gonna have to switch over onto the interior view because classic Ferrari cars are in the way. Switch up onto the maintain. Okay, stay on track a bit. Going faster, overtake. Okay, on second place, Yu Satana is currently on the silver spot along with A. Valentine in third place. But looks like H. Hunter is now being dropped down onto fourth. Gonna have to step it up and go for 19 seconds remaining to kick it up into the high gear. By this look at the stylish modern interior view when driving in the FA Tributo 2019. Unlike any other Ferrari track-only cars and real cars alike, especially for the FXXK is being classed as a racing car category to be built on the track. but only mostly fine, high, expensive supercars is now being well used to be capable to be using on the open road. But very luxurious and built for speed to be going super fast as a hypercar. Very good to be built and developed for speed. So coming up in about 11 seconds, there's H. Hunter on the 512BB. There we go. Time to get closer and overtake. Hold it in and watch myself. Okay, that's very good. I'm on the fourth, just 3 more to go. Okay, halfway there on the third lap. Now the Ferrari 458 Italia is on third. Good run, and catching up on to a Valentine in second place. There's the F12 Berlinetta. Gonna have to go kick it up and go faster speed. Two more laps to go. The F12's in the lead. Simon Bishop is on second. Let's give the Giulia livery FA Troubadour to give a good spotlight of the show. Heads up, Simon Bishop. Hashtag Giulia's livery on the FA Troubadour is on the way. Might gonna have to get closer to him. And there it goes. Quick scene and spotted with a hashtag. That's what I'm talking about. Faster and underestimate to have the hypercar on every Ferrari brand. But you know what else that might be doing well better to have a different Ferrari? The 812 Superfast, or even the Enzo Ferrari that might need to have a different change of performance. Okay, going back on the dead chicane in Sector 3. We're almost there, viewers. Just one more race as an encore to go proceed into the final lap. But not yet far. Still getting closer towards the end of the fourth. Keep up the patience and stay on the inside apex. Okay, that's a good go. Final lap. Just slide it onto the right and pull the brake upon the left. Very good, well experienced to have this most finest hypercar to be driving on the track, and especially for the WTC 600 on Tokyo Expressway. Well, memo to Giulia. I know I'm just using her car because she just really need to have some followers to admire her. But she is a social media influencer after all. Okay, going down onto the band S. Blues out. Last place remaining cars will have to take the next lap to go forward. Okay, almost there. Stay up ahead. Last sector, coming back towards the dead chicane again. Okay, very good solidifying clean work. Okay, fastest record achieved by 1 minute and 48.855 seconds. Just only 6 more to go. Excellent. Fourth weekly challenge complete. Only 1 more to go, and no need to have a replay for a moment, folks. Giulia's Ferrari FA Tributo takes the win in the podium. What can I say, folks? One Total Drama livery takes the spotlight and go by a debut for having a challenge. So let's confirm and proceed to have some extra earnings by 135,000 credits. Back on to 10 million. Only 1 more to go remaining to have a reminder to have a one-make race by using the 2022 Porsche 911 GT3 RS Type 992. It's about to get closer, viewers. I can smell it and see how the first week is going to be set currently and onwards, just like participate on the live summit event from the Crew 2. But speaking of which, I almost forgot to do the next part to be in Best of Flashback. I'll have to be it on tomorrow or Saturday because November 2nd is on Thursday. Now, this may be having a special event in WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for the Type 992 Porsche 911 GT3 RS. A one-make category is now being served as a limited time online event. But I don't know what it's going to be look like, so I'll have to give it a go and find out what it looks like. But this is going to be served to be as a special event. Let's have a good check and have some details on description. A one-make race featuring the Type 992, a high-performance Porsche with racing pedigree. Make use of your DRS and aim for a top spot. Sign me up, alright? It takes a minimum requirement to be at least on 700 performance point or less. I'll have to be preferred to be using on either on the sports or racing category to be on the hard compound. So change up ideas and let's see how it works to be effective. Alright, so that should be doing well as possible. So I'll have to keep that in mind for having a special event to be highlight to have a star icon with the title itself. So there might be some hints to be recommend. Using one Porsche 911 GT3 RS Type 992. Okay, so let's give it a shot and enter to have the very first special event as a weekly challenge. But it takes to last 5 laps around in Laguna Seca. I'm sure a bit that we'll be doing a different part as a one-make race category to go racing into action to have this most special event of all time. Okay, so this will be doing a natural starting grid to have the same cars and some very good Gran Turismo opponents is about to be ready up and good to go. So as of today's weather forecast, it is going to be a bright and sunny day to be located in Monterey, California. Let's do this, folks. This will be having a most important special event to have this replay to be set and go faster with using the DRS. Watch yourself, master the corners, and the track itself is putting up all your test skills will put it to the limit. Good to be back driving on the Type 992. Starting out on 12. Gonna have to keep it up and stay well clean. And there's Angel Inostroza in the first position on the lead. I have to catch up to him and make good use on the DRS. Okay, stay on track. I hope the quality is set to be on standard definition rather than on the high definition. Oh crud. Okay, there goes one speed bump apex. Gonna have to stay on track a bit and go overtake one at a time. Okay, down the hill I go. Ah, come on. The handling is very good, so I have to keep a good extra reminder. Okay, last corner on turn 11. Straight away I go and drop the hammer. First lap down, moving on lap number 2. Okay, our hind ridge, and there goes the contact. Gonna have to check some dent or spots. There's one over there on the right rear. Okay, that's good run, and there's Okudo, followed by Eb Mahler. I just really need to get some extra space, so I have to proceed. Okay, go for the DRS. Okay, take the Rual straight. Fastest record I took in a minute, 37.390 seconds. Okay, down to the corkscrew on point A and B. Okay, that's a good clean turn. One piece it is. Switching up, going straight. 3 more cars to go on the same 911. With the use of the DRS on the Type 992 2022 model, very good to be capable to be driving on either depends on the sports sub or racing compound that either is to be on a hard, medium or sub compound tires on the racing category. Built to become as the most advanced sports car version to become as a race car model. But additionally to have the DRS, it can go faster and be adjusted to go extra on the boost. So third lap on the halfway mark. Gonna have to hurry up and keep the DRS when you're on the straightaway. 1.5 seconds to take the next turn on number 6, followed by on turn 7 to be at the corkscrew to be resumed. Okay, Eb Austerlitz coming down, and he is going in. Okay, time to go switching up defense and offense to go around. Hold it steady. Make good use on turn 11 at the final turn. Okay, fourth lap. 2 more to go. Almost there to catch up to Enerstroza in the lead. Now next up is M. Beegger. Okay, active on the go. Okay, that's a good speed. Stay on track a bit. This time, it's gonna have to go patient towards the overtake. Okay, I'm on second. Now, this will be the time to catch up to Angel Innestrozza in the lead. There he is right now, driving in the same Porsche in the red color. I'm gonna have to catch up to him, and that will have to take 1 DRS on the main speed of style and agility. As Porsche fans who have ever entered to be on a special event to be served as a one-way category to have the Type 992, this is where you can enter to have a limited time event just for temporarily when you're on the world circuits. So almost there to be on the final lap. So keep up the good work, and almost there to catch up to Innestrozza. Okay, coming up on turn 4. I'm nearly there towards him. Whew. Quick sight of defense, but my offense will have to be patiently to be ready and used once if I have to go on the straightaway. Come on, he'll have to take better than that. Looks like he's waiting for me, folks. And here comes the corkscrew. Okay, gonna have to watch my 6. Looks like he just blocked my opening. Gonna have to take one shot at this. Last turn on number 11. Gosh, so very close. He just actually took the win. Good run, Angel Innestrozza. But I'll have to take one practice part of the session as I really need to have that replay. So that's 5 green check marks, and weekly challenges is complete. Boy, that was so very close. I almost had that chance to catch up to him, folks. Angel Innestrozza is the most proud expert of driving in the Porsche. Clearly, I just ended up in second place, so I'll have to give it a one tough rematch to go again. So 72,900 credits on the prize money. Not bad. Not bad after all. But 5-star roulette ticket is now being received by completing in a weekly challenge. But still yet to come, because I just really might need to have that thumbnail image to the replay to have this image on the first attempt. The event to be set as limited time. But I'll have to come back and I have to remind myself, because every week is going to have to take some different set of challenges on either events. But hopefully, this will have to take a time and go for having one experimental attempt for having one limited time event to go in the one-way category. But past result is now being placed on second. Completion condition is now being on the third. So let's exit out, and just gonna have to take one last reminder to be going back on the escapes. I almost forgot one other thing, to have a brand new selection theme to be take place on Tokyo. So onto the spots, and let's have Japan. Going on State Prefecture, going on Tokyo. Okay, let's scroll down and find a Liberty Digital Studio on the inside. There's one I'm talking about that I just saw pass by earlier. 3 image sections on Liberty Digital Tokyo office. On the description, this hall, located at Liberty Digital's offices in Tokyo's Kotowar, normally functions as a communications area but it occasionally becomes a venue with multiple driving rigs set up for race events. It also commemorates more than 3,000 scapes landmark. More than 3,000 scapes to have some scene of iconic location. Very awesome and very excellent to have this part of the scape background. Special thank you to Polypity Digital and Kazunori Yamaguchi. You give us Gran Turismo 7 to have a big, most excited thrill of the update of all time as part of the Spec II. So let's have a good choice by a vehicle pick. Gonna have to start out to have my UDRS Insportec livery on the Corvette. Go by last used. Okay, there we go. Just have this placement on the wheel in position and 20 degrees. Blurry and go realistic clear. Almost forgot one other thing to have my self character in it. Add a driver and wait for it to have the pose. Okay, any selection of pose I'm about to go with. Okay, close visor, and there you go. Wait for the rendering, and voila! Picture perfect complete. Very good brand new 3 different feature selection is now perfectly to be part of the update. So very enjoyable, you guys. So very good, and this one is gonna have to take 3,001 total spots on scapes. But it is gonna be so very amazing to have some different iconic locations and landmarks all over the world. So let's go back to the GT garage, and this is gonna be the final outcome to have Spec 2 update is gonna have to bring out some more massive additional features. So I'll have to take a stop by in car collection, search on any vehicles to be listed as brand new. Number of collected cars to be at 423. So let's start out and have the Mercedes-Benz 190E 2.5-16 Evolution 291. Born from touring racing, the ultimate evolution of the 190E. Perfection, real car category to become as a road-going touring car version. Because this one that has a 16-valve Doha head was added to have this different performance on the engine. But better yet, this road-going version on the 190E is actually to become as a DTM race car icon from the 90s. Next up to have the 911 GT3 RS Type 992 2022. A hyper-performance road car packed with race car features. Released in the summer of 2022. This most advanced hyper-performance 911 GT3 RS of all time has now been set onto the Type 992 with a drag reduction system, unlike the Black Series on the Mercedes-AMG GTR. But not to mention because very more improved by performance to have the descriptions with the additional improvements to aerodynamic devices such as the front aero bars and air outlets at the front and rear fenders. All result in a car that generated more than twice the downforce of the 991.2 GT3 RS. But very good to have that most movie car icon is now being added to the game. The third one, NISMO 400R 1995. Boasting 394.5 horsepower and an extremely limited production run, this is the ultimate R33 GTR from NISMO. Coming back from every Gran Turismo series from GT1 and stop at GT6 until being treated to have a fully premium detailed view on Gran Turismo 7. But there's going to be having some more usual color selection to have this R33 Skyline as the 400R made by NISMO. As the accumulation of NISMO's technological expertise and know-how, the 400R just may be the ultimate Skyline GTR, but still yet to become very ultimate and remains original along with the R34 and R35 GTR. And for the Lexus LFA 2010, this ultra high-tech sports car achieved ultimate performance with mass production quality. It takes 20 years before Japan's automotive industry was truly recognized by the world. Perhaps the chassis is actually to have the original kind from the Toyota vehicle on the 2000 GT, because in the 21st century, another cutting-edge sports car that would continue that legacy on the LFA. On the description to be scrolled down when you might need to have some sentence and details about the Lexus LFA, because the V10 engine sound is very much more sound differently, but everybody think that the LFA maybe seemed to be the worst car. But I cannot have that insult to the LFA, because this one is built to be driving and beautiful to have that most Japanese mass supercar to have this most achieved performance. From 0 to 62.1 miles in just 3.7 seconds and reach a top speed of 201.9 miles. Sweetened the car's collectivity factor was that it was produced in a limited run by only 500 cars worldwide. Very truthful as a final model to the LFA ever since as a concept car from 2007. But very good to see the LFA is now coming back and rearing up on the road to be on GT7. So next up, the Charger RT 426 Hemi 1968. This true 1960s muscle car is the envy of collectors everywhere. Introduced by Chrysler in 1966, the Dodge Charger is among the standard barriers of the muscle car era that dominate the American car scene in the 1960s. Much like other differences like the Challenger and Super B, it should have no surprise that the car has since become a collector's item. But apparently to have some differences as a demolition derby vehicle and a Dodge NASCAR race engines is now being seen on the description. The RT, which stands for Road Track. Very much more fine title to have a main brand, because the chassis is actually to be a bit more mid-sized differences like the Dodge Coronet. But it's still got some classic muscle car beauty and pack up with some good 4-speed transmission to be carried out by over 400 horsepower. And of course, the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon 2018. A Demon born simply to run the quarter mile as fast as possible. But true correction, as a third generation Dodge Challenger was introduced in 2008. Successor to have some various high performance variants to be part as a SRT brand. Because built on high octane fuel, because it can actually to be boosted up from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 2.3 seconds to have a quarter mile in just 9.65 seconds to be having a good excellent top speed to have this Demon Crate parts to be designed by the sports racing technology. But otherwise, because the Demon just took part to be on the National Hot Rod Association until it's being banned in its stock form of standard road car version. Because the Demon is certain to go down in Dodge history as one of the greatest monsters the company has ever produced. Because $6,000 US is being more than to have a high expensive because of the high octane tune ECU for drag racing, air filters, and a race-spec instrument panel. Unlike the original and the SRT version as a 2012 model, along with the Hellcat as a 2017. As of 2018, the Challenger SRT Demon is the true modern muscle car that built to be carried out by over 800 horsepower. Successful and born like a true beast from the classic and entered to the 21st century of the modern age. And for the 7th car to be highlighted on the red dot, Tesla Model 3 Performance. A bestseller from the company that changed the EV market forever. Introduced to be as an EV sedan for the Model 3 in 2016, was one of Tesla's smaller models, measuring 184.8 inches long, 72.8 inches wide, and 56.9 inches tall. Rumor has it, it was designed by consideration for Japanese mechanical parking garages. But that one is actually to have a sporty 5-door hatchback like the Honda Civic, because other kinds of features when being stated as an all-wheel drive. But in September 2023, the Model 3 received its first major change since its debut. The car grew slightly to 185.8 inches in overall length and wore a sharper-looking front fiasco. Inside, the dashboard and controls look more similar to other Tesla models like the Model S, Y, and X. But another find successful for having one Model 3 Performance designed by Elon Musk and his group of engineers who designed this car is now being added to the GT7 game. So let's have a good check on the gifts, and wow, looks like I have tons of roulette tickets to be received by every day. But I'll have to get down to do some credit tickets and some 5-star roulette ticket to be received as a prize reward to be participate in weekly challenge. Time to add this up and go combine in total of 300,000. But this time I'll have to go with 4 3-star roulette tickets to be ready to go. Just give me something. Okay, so close. Just the same old usual on the low earning. Give 5,000 credits and I'll take it. Now on to second 3-star 2. Okay, well, 10,000 GT credits. Doesn't bother. Third 3-star coming up. Alright, let's see. Give me something. One part, well, racing titanium exhaust, compatible on the 2010 McLaren MP412C. Last 3-star roulette ticket for the day, and I'll have to keep racing more before tomorrow. Just give me something. Not the Genesis G70, but a suspension on height adjustable sports is now on the Toyota GR86 RC 2021. Alright, so looks like that could be it for now. Pardon me folks, I just had some dinner for tonight. Just having some pizza with some mozzarella and spinach. So what do you guys think about all kinds of brand new massive update on Gran Turismo 7? So give your thoughts, questions about the 7 cars and a new track, plus to have some more additional features like master license, and even of course to have some new features on camera mode. For me, the Lexus LFA 2010 was a very good true of the supercar icon for Lexus, along with the Porsche 911 GT3 RS Type 992 2022. It was a very good to have a most track-only supercar is now being built to be served as a race car class. But the differences and the chassis maybe look alike, similar to the Type 991 as a 2016 model. But looks so beautiful, built on the track, and very capable, as I'm about to go again to be racing for having a special event on Laguna Seca to have a rematch for the third one, because I just actually think about the NISMO 400R. All that thrill of excited to see this most fine professional JDM car is coming back and become as a fully premium detailed view, just like the Mercedes-Benz 190e 2.5-16 Evolution 2 91. And for the last one to have some 3 American vehicles, the Tesla Model 3 Performance was actually to be very good to be capable to be driving as an electric vehicle to be served on one make race category. For only last 2 of the muscle cars on Dodge, the Charger RT 426 Hemi is a very good classic muscle car that dominates to have 425 horsepower will be driving on the track to be used on the 1960s. But very good to have a nice fully premium detailed view treatment unlike the 1970 counterparts. And for the last, the Dodge Challenger SRT Demon. Good thing this most fine street race disciplined vehicle from the Crew 2 and heading over to be on Gran Turismo 7 to have a good Demon brand variation to be part as an SRT brand. But all I can say is because 7 cars is just to be perfect to have this most massive update in Spec II on November 2023 update. Well, what a day, you guys. The big day on November 2nd was very amazing, so I'll have to wrap this up before at the end of the video until I'll have to take a good look on engine swap to have some very good best selection vehicle to be compatible. But before that, I might gonna have to go and grab my Corvette CR1 6th generation 2009, depends on either on different version. So hang on one moment, gonna have to go on date acquire, scroll down and see which vehicle might need to be used. Okay, looks like that could be doing white car to be well used to have this one. But don't worry folks, I'll have to see it to myself, and this is going to be quite putting up with some more engine swap to be used on any vehicles to be compatible. So, thank you for enjoying watching the video on Gran Turismo 7. Glad that you really enjoyed, and what a long ride. So don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for a like, comment, then click the bell for notification on upcoming content videos if you'd like to see. Don't forget to check it out on any social media platforms like DeviantArt, Instagram, Twitter, GT Planet, Patreon, and Discord to see for my image artwork like UDRS liveries, Vision Total Drama fan art, Ricard liveries, and more whenever you're welcome at any time. I'll be seeing you guys next time on Gran Turismo 7, and I look forward to see you again in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean, and have a good day, you guys.